So you can catch it, match it, stash it in the cabinet. Listen to the chorus while let Ivan scratch it. This is real hip hop, we aiming for a classic. And if we can't approach it, screw it, we'll attack it. Catch it, match it, stash it in the cabinet. Listen to the chorus while let Ivan. This is real hip hop, we aiming for a classic. And if we can't approach it, screw it, we'll attack it.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Retro Wrestling Review Series. Today we are reviewing WrestleMania 24, and as you can tell from the title, we have a very special guest on the Retro. But before we introduce him, let's introduce everybody else. First, the person that's been with me on this show since the very beginning, the person that produces all of my content now, James the He-Man Hebert. How are you today?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling fantastic. I just energized myself on some Diet Pepsi. Got a new backdrop to kind of celebrate this momentous occasion on the Wrestling Fortune 44 brand, if you will. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this, man. It's going to be a good show.
Is this the first time the backdrop's being seen on any podcast?
This is the first time the backdrop is being seen on any podcast. Yes, indeed.
So everyone, let us know what you think of James' new backdrop. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you kind of in between about it? Do you not really care? Let us know. He needs to know.
I need feedback. I need all the feedback. Every amount of feedback possible.
Yeah. Introducing next, the person that clean sweep was at AEW Evolution Predictions, and he didn't even watch the show. The person that picked this retro, Casey Gallagher, the encyclopedia of WIW. How are you today?
Beat to hell. I just got home from a grueling shift at work. Feels good to be able to hold this again, though.
I know.
And that means a hell of a lot.
You could have held it anyway.
Bro,
you could have held it anyways, though.
Bro, that belt counts for 4 titles. You got a 4 belt. You're the belt collector right now.
Yes, you do. And the person that doesn't need an introduction, he's going to get one anyways, but he doesn't need one. The person that started podcasting before any of us did, the person that made the IWC pretty damn cool, a former 2-time No DQ Wrestling Trivia Challenge champion, good old JM, Jeff Meacham. I can't believe I'm about to ask this question, but how are you today? 4 times.
4 times.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
That's okay. Former WTC champion, former Jack of all trades champion, podcasting on this crazy business for over 20 years now. And when you guys pitched this to me that this is you're going to WrestleMania, you're going to be retro, and it's like, man, I was there. This is the last WrestleMania I was at. That is for another 23 days anyway. So I had to pop in and get my 2 cents.
You going to SoFi?
On both days, baby.
What's up? By the way, we got John Tuddy in the chat. What's up, John? But there you go.
But yeah, so I can't believe this is happening. Let's kind of give the backstory of how this ended up coming to be, because everyone wants to know. So Casey picked this retro. I asked like months ago when we did Mania Retros what one people would want to do. Casey picked 24. He will tell you why in a second. And this just lined up because as Jeff Meacham said, he was at this Mania. He was at 2024. He didn't want to come on 2000. If you saw the retro, you would know why. But
again, it's like I said off air. It was my first Mania I attended live. It was actually the first live wrestling show I'd been to for the previous 6 years. The last wrestling show I attended before WrestleMania 2000 was a WCW house show at the house shore. Wow, that's how bad it was. I wanted to get offshore and get away from this as quickly as possible. A house show at the Anaheim Convention Center, which is about 5 minutes from work now for me. But yeah, and that was actually the night I discovered that wrestling was predetermined, and there was a thing called kayfabe. So
Yeah.
not the best wrestling memory to live off of for 6 years. So 2000 was what it was. It was a shit show, but it was still my first Mania. But this one, as you said, so much better memory.
But yeah, so James made some calls because he had the connections, and everything just lined up perfectly. The day that we were going to do it, everything, because I tried to do a show with Jeff Meacham before. Let's just say you guys saw it turned out good, but behind the scenes it didn't. And
Right.
if I had tried to go back to that lifestyle again, it was just not going to work out. So this is just the perfect way to do it. It's the only days that Jeff Meacham's really available up until WrestleMania itself. So this just lined up perfectly. Unfortunately, we didn't line up so perfectly as I couldn't share this to a lot of Facebook groups because Facebook decided to put me in jail for a little bit because I shared the WrestleMania 2000 link to too many groups, I guess. So
there you
Facebook
go.
didn't like that. So
Yeah, Facebook got
So the band-
the new thing. So
They labeled you as a spam bot.
probably.
yeah. So luckily, the ban ends after this video's over. But it would have been nice to get it out there before the video, you know. But
Hopefully people see this video. I promise there will be massive sharing involved because I'm just that vain. We're all shared everywhere. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
there you go.
Exactly.
But yeah, let's get to talking about this retro. So Casey, why did you pick this retro? Because you picked Rumble 08. That was your first Royal Rumble, you said. Why did you pick WrestleMania 24? Because you can't say it was your first Mania because it wasn't. So what made you pick WrestleMania?
It was not. It was not. But it was the first time I had watched Mania, not necessarily live, but sooner than like a week or two after it happened.
Yeah.
So there you go. Believe it or not, 25 was my first Mania I watched live. So, you know, so...
Unfortunately for me, that rather dubious honor goes to 27.
Yeah.
No, you too.
I just rewatched 27 yesterday. It's not completely a train wreck. I mean, there's some bad spots, yes.
Yeah.
But I also remember it less favorably because I was in such a crazy place in my life at that point too. Watching it back here in this studio yesterday with the benefit of hindsight comes off a lot better.
So Jeff, before we talk about the show itself, why don't you talk about what made you want to go to this WrestleMania, maybe the week itself, going to this show and everything like that?
Okay, so the discussion on that starts ends with Ric Flair. I mean, that's just the way it is. I when Vince came out and made that the
Promo.
thing to Rick that the next match you lose, you're gonna retire. It's like, well, we're that far out from Mania where it should be a thing. So I'd wanted to go to this show anyway, but it was in Orlando. It was, all the way across the country, and I had a job. So it was like, okay, I'm not going. It's just not going to be a thing. Subsequently, I got myself in a little bit of trouble at that job. Ended up losing that job in January 2008, shortly before the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, actually. And not going to lie, this was pretty much and as this is going on, I'm losing this job. My most recent ex-girlfriend, who was at that point, she was not with me. Her and I were not a couple at that point, but she was pregnant with the kiddo. So I have no job, and my pregnant non-girlfriend is having to move in with us because the deadbeat she was living with were deadbeat she was living with. So me going to WrestleMania and Hall of Fame and Disney World was pretty much your life sucks, we're sorry, happy birthday.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is. How did the missus feel about you going to WrestleMania with a kid, knowing you have a kid on the way?
Never call her the missus again. We never got married. Please don't do that.
Okay.
No. I love my son. He is the greatest joy in my life. That bitch, on the other hand. Anyway, so it was one of those. She moved in after this had already been decided. We were going. It was going to be a thing. It's funny you bring up her feelings about it because to this day, think about it this way. What day did WrestleMania 24 take place? Like the actual date?
I was gonna do a quiz on it, but since we kind of have to, it took place on March 30th, 2008.
2008.
Okay, so that was a Sunday. We landed back at LAX Tuesday morning, April 1st.
Okay.
Next day was Dylan's mom's final checkup before because she was due to have Dylan in late April. So we were going for the final checkup, kind of get everything ready. Okay, end of the month, we're going to be a thing. We get through the exam and she's in labor. So I went off a plane, came back here, went down to UCLA the next day, and we were at UCLA for the next 2 weeks because Dylan was born that Friday morning and he had issues coming out. So yeah, I went literally from WrestleMania and being a fan and boo-hooing over what we're going to talk about later to becoming a father within 5 days.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so that's insane.
Talk about an emotional roller coaster.
If you guys watched Talk Wrestling that we did after that, I was a complete basket case.
So did you go to any other like events like a WrestleMania other than the Hall of Fame, like a WrestleMania access or TNA since it wasn't doing tapings or no?
No. We ended up making the bulk of the trip be at Disney World itself. We did all 4 parks at least once. I know we did Magic Kingdom twice because we did Magic Kingdom the morning at WrestleMania. I know that.
Yeah.
We went down to the Magic Kingdom for a few hours and then hopped the shuttle over to. No, I'm sorry. I take that back. We drove in from Magic Kingdom because they didn't have the shuttle because the Citrus Bowl was so goddamn far from property. Or the Camping World Stadium, whatever the hell they call that damn place.
Whatever it's called. Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great week. It happened that the company my dad works for, the reason he's an honorary Imagineer is because of the company that he works for does so much work with the mouse. Long before I ever got employed.
Right.
Part of the reason we got to go was because Epcot had done a major partnership with the waste management trash company, and they had a whole like attraction designed based on their process, right? So the company my dad works for did a ton of that. So we basically got a good chunk of the trip, not comped because that's the wrong connotation, but we were helped along very heavily, immensely, thank you, in taking that trip, which is why we haven't gone back since because it just hasn't been cost effective.
No, not at all.
But now that'll work for the mouse. It's probably going to happen more sooner rather than later. But anyway, so to answer your question, Owen, no. We did Mania and we did Hall of Fame, and then everything else was at Disney.
I gotta ask now that you brought it up because now I have a question. So you have been to both now officially. What is better, Disney World or Disneyland?
So I will always be partial to our park here at Anaheim, Disneyland, and I say that only because it was the only park that Walt actually walked.
Wow!
It's the only park he got to experience and got to oversee and finalize opening. Of course, famously he passed away in December of '66, and Disney World is now 50. It just opened actually a little over 50 now. It opened in October of '71, so he did not get to see Disney, which is why it's named Walt Disney World and not just Disney World.
Wow.
He was originally talking about. It's Walt Disney World because Roy went, okay, he should be here, so he will forever be here.
Right.
Which what's crazy is he put so much of himself into Disneyland and still made it 11 years past Disneyland, even though people had no idea how sick he was till the very end. The cancer just ate him alive. It was awful.
Yeah.
It was really bad toward the end, actually. I've had stories from people. Anyway, Roy, his brother, passed away like a few months after Disney World opened. He put so much into getting. Yeah, remember when Walt died, Roy, who was just a finance guy, he wasn't, anything except finances. He had to assume leadership of the company at that point. So everything in the company went toward the park in Florida, the resort, because if you think about the movies between 66 and 71, some of them kind of are what they are.
Right.
Yeah.
And the reason is because so much was geared toward the park. Roy just literally exhausted himself to death.
Yikes.
So again, to answer your question, what time it is, but I don't need to make the watch. I always prefer Disneyland because it's special to the company, it's special to us as a family, and it's special because Walt. And matter of fact, being in his apartment on Christmas, watching the Christmas parade go by, knowing he had been in that apartment was just a whole other level for me.
That had to have been stupidly emotional.
It was damn bananas. I showed up on Christmas, just like I'm here on Christmas. I'm working. I'm not with my family. Yeah, but I'm here on Christmas. I'm at Disney on Christmas. So already it was like a balance of things. And then I'm just standing there watching the parade, just waiting to clock in. And I had a friend come down and, what are you doing? I was just waiting to clock in. And, well, how much time you got? About 15 minutes. And she does that little, like, huh? Walks me upstairs and I'm like, okay, don't touch anything. Don't sit down. Don't shit your pants. Yeah.
Right.
So Disneyland is the answer to that question.
Well, I would imagine one of those things would be at least a little bit harder to do than the others.
Well, okay. So the last one only almost happened because I bumped into the ottoman in front of the chair and almost knocked it over. And I'm like,
oh my God.
And I'm in my full stewarding costume. I got my white collar shirt on, my nice dress pants, and I'm going, are we allowed to take a picture? I'm in costume. She goes, you were invited up here as part of this thing, so yes, and you can even post it. I went, I can post it on social media? Holy shit. So yeah, it was...
That's cool.
It was probably the best Christmas gift I could have got for myself that I didn't even think about.
There you go. Well, there you go, man.
So
anyway, that was a way tangent. Sorry about that, you guys.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's okay. Yeah,
in fairness, I was the one who asked the question too. So anyway, and continue.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Disneyland will always be official to all of us in the company, not just me. Disneyland is, as far as, I mean, we are literally all around the world now. We have a park in every continent except Africa. Well, I mean, not every continent, but in every corner of the world, and which makes no sense because there's no corners on the world because it's a giant globe. But in every
don't tell that to flat earthers; they might get mad.
Don't tell.
Well, that's the thing. It's so we have one in at least every hemisphere, whatever you want to call it, and I've only been to Florida so far, besides here, and everybody I talk to always says Disneyland is the end all be all. So.
Fair enough. Cassie, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I'm going to save the details of this for off air, but you mentioned Disney World. I've actually got a bit of a story there.
Fair enough. Okay, we'll do that off air. Fair enough.
It's a no.
All right,
I've been there a few times now, so I'm sure it'll be good stories.
There you go. Owen, continue.
So, going through kind of where the company was going into WrestleMania in terms of the state of professional wrestling and everything like that. So this was still not a year after the Chris Benoit tragedy. Professional wrestling was still trying to kind of bounce back from it. They were kind of bouncing back a little bit. Obviously, WWE didn't make the changes yet that they needed to make when it came down to they were working on the wellness policy, but they still wanted a PG company.
All right.
But professional wrestling was starting to bounce back a little bit. I talked about in the WrestleMania 25 review that they did bounce back a little bit. But here they were still kind of in the bouncing back stage. They had gotten most of the talent back because a good chunk of them had got suspended because of, the new wellness policy and everything like that. WWE had just became HD, so every show that you saw was HD now. Royal Rumble 08, as we talked about, Casey, was the first pay-per-view that was in HD. So this was the first WrestleMania in HD. And it was kind of interesting because you could correct me if I'm wrong. I believe this is the first time they had to deal with TNA when they went to when they did a WrestleMania, because TNA was taping in the Impact Zone, and for some strange reason, the WWE was worried about their talent intermingling with the TNA's talent, because TNA was there. I think they were doing like a press conference to hype up the one and only video game that they did. So pretty much there was that hotel that they were at. I think it's called Global Network something. I forget the name of the hotel off the top of my head. But WWE was told to stay in a lockdown there. And it didn't really work because one of the McAllisters, well, not one of the McAllisters, but one of the Highlanders ended up...
Yes.
He ended up being seen on a TNA taping, and this ended up costing him his WrestleMania payday because obviously he was still signed with the WWE.
Not even just one of them. I'll correct you there. Not even just one of them. Both of them because one of them was shown, and then the tag team partner, whoever that was, I forget which was which, they punished him by proxy, so they both actually lost out on a Mania pay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we saw like one of them was just vanished, and then the other one like showed up and was basically enhancement talent, and then was released right afterwards too. So
yeah.
And TNA wanted to fly one of their planes over to advertise their show, and pretty much WWE did not want this to happen because there's been instances before where other companies tried to advertise themselves on WWE, and obviously WWE didn't want this to happen. So basically, Vince McMahon convinced them. Say that again, Casey.
Looking at you, Bill Watts.
Yeah.
So pretty much WWE higher ups were able.
This was back in like the 70s before common flyovers were a thing. As Vince tells it, they would run an arena, and Bill would just go into like the convention center nearest to that arena and say, "Hey, come see the guys. We'll put on a couple show. Come meet the people. Come meet the wrestlers and the talent." Vince describes Bill Watts, especially in the 70s, as a real street smart guy.
Yeah.
So,
but the WWE higher ups were able to convince TNA not to fly that plane because the weather was going to be bad going into WrestleMania, so they didn't want to have a national tragedy. So they talked him out of it. But with what happened at the beginning of the show, I think WWE completely BS TNA there because this plane's flying all over the place.
We don't want a national tragedy. More like we don't want a tragedy of Vince McMahon absolutely reaming Kevin Dunn's neck for showing a TNA advertisement. That's the tragedy we're trying to avoid.
I know. Yep.
So, one other question I asked you about, Jeff, that we didn't talk about. So there was bad weather like the week of WrestleMania. And I think there was talk that WrestleMania possibly was going to be delayed or canceled or not happen or whatever. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
So we got a little bit of rain going into the second half of the night. That was it's so funny. Please, if those of you watching here, disclaimer: if those of you watching at home are really religious fanatics and don't like the fact that I'm mocking God here, please tune away now. Thank you. Okay. So my family and I went to Disney World in '97. It was the four of us, my brother, my parents, and I, and it started raining from the minute the shuttle pulled out of Orlando Airport. It didn't stop raining until we took off the following week. It rained every damn day, 7 straight friggin' days. So when we went back in 2008, I want to say we landed, I think we got there the Wednesday before. Yeah, because we spent a week. So we got there the Wednesday before WrestleMania. And first full day, we're walking out onto the courtyard there at the All-Star Sports Resort, walking toward breakfast and poolside, and I start feeling sprinkles.
And you're like, "Oh no!"
And I look up, I go, "No!" And it stopped. And I hand to God, it stopped. All right. Me 1, God 0. Didn't rain again, except for briefly.
Moral of the story: Jeff Meacham trumps God.
That's well.
At least that night.
That's
at
right.
least WrestleMania night.
Question, Lemmy is God. No. Anyway. If you know the story of Lemmy and me, kids. Anyway, we'll talk about that another time. Yeah. But it didn't rain again except for briefly when the sun started to set Wrestlemania Sunday. So that was a fear. I was hearing about it all week, especially more so at Disney than I was at the Amway Arena or whatever the hell the name of the arena is in Orlando, where they have Raw and stuff. But where they had Hall of Fame, Amway Arena, and I was hearing more about it on non-wrestling days than I was actually at the wrestling events. So it worked out.
There you go.
That's why I didn't actually do the week, because I have someone that was actually there. He's the knowledge of everything right now. So
yeah, what's so funny is we were so insulated at Disney, as it happens at Disney. You kind of get caught from the rest of the world when you're on that property because it's its own little damn city down there. We didn't even. I mean, we'll talk about what happened after the main event as far as the Undertaker's pyrotechnics having extra shenanigans, but we didn't even know about that until the next morning. Put it that way. We'll talk more about it later. But yeah, we had no idea it was a thing until we woke up to our alarms going off from my mother having to call us, making sure we weren't dead from pyro ignition.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Before we actually start talking about the show, let's read some comments. We have one from Dwayne Atkinson. James, I believe, responded to him, but I'll just read his comment out anyways. He said, "What up, my friends? Great to see you guys." And then James Asme said, "Sup, Dwayne and John. Welcome to the show. Share it around if you can." And then the rest is Dwayne Atkinson's. He said, "Who's the handsome guy in the bottom right corner?"
Who do you think?
So James,
is Jeff.
You're handsome, apparently.
Wait, am I handsome or no? Or well, I think he's referring to Jeff.
Yeah, he said bottom. He said bottom right, so that's you. That's
bottom
you.
right with the Boston stuff
right.
in the background.
Oh shit! I guess
if
that's
there's
me.
Boston stuff, it sure as shit ain't me in the background.
So James, you're apparently handsome. And then Dwayne Atkinson said that it.
Don't you worry, James. We'll keep you humble.
Oh, nice. Thanks.
That's right.
But Dwayne Atkinson.
Anyway, you were saying.
Dwayne Atkinson continues. He said that WrestleMania 30 took place on
March 30th. Yeah. He botched the first time.
And then he said. He answered your question, James, I believe. Disney World only because I'm in Florida, LOL.
There you go.
That's fair. That's fair.
There you go. Fair
hey, you know what? If you only been to one, it's kind of hard to be objective.
Oh, by the way, we got a sighting of a cat behind the Insanity Works Incorporated logo right there. There's the tail. He's the cat's.
Yeah, I'm wandering pussy. I was distracting, folks. Anyway.
Anyway, continue on.
So going through...
is or won't.
That's right.
Going through like the financials and stuff. So we talked about the date of WrestleMania. As obviously Jeff mentioned, it took place in Orlando, Florida, since it was the same state as Disney. The venue was the Florida Citrus Bowl, which I think Jeff said earlier. Attendance was 74,635. That may or may not be made up because sometimes the WWE has a tendency to inflate the numbers.
Sometimes.
Okay.
You know what? Having been there and being amongst them, I could believe 74 and change.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
And sometimes it just takes being there. And then the buy weight was 1 million buys exactly. So
yep.
That's really good. The tagline was the biggest WrestleMania under the sun. Obviously, this was before WrestleMania 33. Was that the one when the sun was the logo? I believe that was before that one.
Well, no, because if you look at the WrestleMania 24 logo, it's got the sun in the background of the logo. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So going through the show itself.
Before we even continue, since you mentioned Mania 33, and then we'll continue on. Mania 33, as Casey and I said on Wrestling with Idiocy when we were talking about stage sets, best set of WrestleMania of all time. I think.
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Nothing came
That
out.
roller coaster
Is so good.
I was so jealous of that. I'm like, couldn't have done that 9 years earlier. Thanks a lot, assholes. Really,
Yeah, right,
thanks.
right? No, instead you get the big middle fingertron. Before we even continue,
James,
for real.
Which James, we kind of stole.
Yeah, we stole that.
I mean,
and we noticed it when we used it for Immortal. It was like, it's just a fucking big middle finger. Like, that's all it is. Nice.
I know.
Freaking Transformer finger. It's Optimus Prime's middle finger.
Wait. You said Transformer finger? Hold on.
Yeah. Optimus Prime's middle finger. There you go. That's it. Oh, Jesus.
Suck on that, Megatron.
Robots in disguise. Fuck off.
All right, go ahead, Owen. Sorry.
We're going through the show. We had the dog match. The commentary for the dog match was Joey Styles and Taz because it was an ECW match. So they were the ECW commentary team at the time. So they obviously got to take that one. It was a battle royal to determine. It was a 24-man battle royal to determine the number one contender for the ECW championship. Pretty much, it was just a battle royal. They threw together. They wanted to get everybody on the show, and this was to determine who was going to face Chavo Guerrero later on in the night for the title. The biggest storyline they did with the match, hyping it up, was Tommy Dreamer going to win? Because they did like a thing on the Go Home episode of ECW where he took the pinfall in like a big tag match, the biggest tag match I think has ever taken place in the history of the wrestling business. And then he faced Chavo later that night, and I think he lost to Chavo. And that kind of gave away that Tommy Dreamer wasn't going to win this battle royal since they gave away that match earlier. Going through the participants, We had Kane, Mark Henry, Deuce, Domino, Jim Duggan, Stevie Richards, not Steven Richards, Elijah Burke, The Miz, who was one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions at that time, Shannon Moore, Jimmy Wayne Yane, Jesse, Trevor Murdoch, Vestus, the Brian Kendrick, even though it was just Brian Kendrick. I don't know why he's the Brian Kendrick here. But Lance Cade.
I think because he'd already turned heel on Paul London.
Yeah, so actually by then because he came out with Zeke, I think, at that point.
Yeah. So Lance Cade, Kofi Kingston, who was making his WrestleMania debut, Cody Rhodes, who was one half of the World Tag Team Champions, Jamie Noble, Chuck Palumbo, the Great Khali, Hardcore Holly, who was the other half of the World Tag Team Champions, Tommy Dreamer, Snitsky, and Val Venus. So Val Venus is never mentioned. He is in the Battle Royal, but he gets eliminated so quickly that he's not really much of a factor in this match. I believe this was Val Venus's like one of his last matches that he had before he left WWE.
His very last match, FYI, was on the 500th episode of Heat's main event on WWE.com.
That's interesting. Yeah. So
there you go.
Yeah, pretty decent Battle Royal here. Vestus looked pretty strong in the match in the early go when he eliminated Deuce and Domino. Him and the Great Khali had a face-off, and Taz said on commentary, this is what I've been waiting to see right here. You can just tell Taz was not genuine with that at all.
This is what I've been waiting to see. Oh my God, why Taz? And I know, Jeff, you have your issues with Taz, man, but I just felt bad for him and Styles here, dude. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Well, okay, you guys. First of all, my issues with Taz didn't start at this point, so I felt bad for Taz here too.
Yeah,
but
fair enough.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you gotta remember, by 2008, ECW brand was, like has been said countless times over the years, you call that third brand of WWE anything but those three letters, not a bad little show, not a bad little brand, but it wasn't ECW.
Yeah,
and that's the thing.
By the way, before you continue, if you guys want to see a better rebooked ECW in that era, in that time period, here's the iCard of my rebooking of ECW from 06 to 08. There you go. All the way to WrestleMania 24.
Right. You're going to have to do
it. Be prepared for lots of raging, but if that's your thing, you're going to be hard-pressed to find
did I rage on this? I don't remember. It's been that long.
No.
There was a fair bit of anger. There was
with how ECW was run. Yeah, because I'm an ECW mark, bro. There you go.
Yeah, but continuing.
No point being so pissed all the time, though, bro.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I need to mellow out on that a little bit, just a little bit.
But yeah, even Jeff knows, and he hasn't even known you.
Jeff is well aware. Jeff's very well aware.
But yeah, continuing. So Stevie Richards at one point is on the apron, and he gets hit with an Elijah Express and eliminated, which was cool. And then Kane comes up from behind him, grabs him by the throat, and pushes him out of the ring, which was cool. They did a cool bit with Kofi Kingston where he looked like he could have won this match at various points. I thought The Miz kind of got shat on a little bit because he was just kind of eliminated like another guy. I mean, I guess he kind of was another guy, but he was like one half of the tag champions. He just got eliminated.
Therein lies the part of the problem. Like, I understand even at that time, Check Magnet Miz was just another guy on the roster, but he's also the tag team champion. So
yeah,
right.
They did a cool bit where Jamie Noble saved himself from elimination when he was on top of somebody. He there were people that were down, and he just walked all over those people. And since his feet never touched the floor, he wasn't eliminated. But after all that work, he just gets big booted by Chuck Palumbo and eliminated anyways. But it was still a cool thing that they did.
Wasn't this pretty close to the end of Jamie Noble's first run in WWE?
It was the end of both.
No, he was. I mean, he was around it like another year or so.
Well, I specifically remember for Jamie Noble because it wasn't too long after this that Sheamus came along, and
yes,
pretty much boom to Jamie Noble on the outside.
That is still one of the most disgusting power bombs I've ever seen in my entire life, by the way.
Yeah.
That was freaking brutal.
Anyway.
But yeah, continuing, everybody worked together to eliminate the Great Khali that was in the match. And then eventually it came down to Hardcore Holly, Snitsky, Mark Henry, and Kane.
Yeah.
Snitsky and Mark Henry worked together after they eliminate Hardcore Holly and are working together to attempt to eliminate Kane. Eventually, Snitsky takes too long taunting, so Mark Henry ambushes him from behind and eliminates him. Henry goes for a splash in the corner. Kane moves, big boots Mark Henry, clotheslines him out of the ring, and Kane wins the Battle Royal. I guess if you were going to have anybody win, I think Kane made the most sense since he was the biggest name in the match, and I think they wanted to have Kane have a nice WrestleMania payday. But this Battle Royal was kind of whatever. It's a typical Battle Royal. I give it like 2 stars. It only went it didn't even go 10 minutes. And usually if a Battle Royal doesn't go more than 10 minutes, that's kind of a problem. So I gave it like 2 stars. It had some decent stuff in it, but it was really one of those Battle Royals where they clearly wanted to get everybody on the code. So
I agree.
We'll start with Jeff.
One of the Titanic style battle royals. Everybody's getting the hell out as fast as they can.
Yeah, and I agree.
Yeah.
2 stars. Jeff.
Well, let's just applaud the folks at WWE for having a battle royal to determine the ECW championship contender between an ECW champion who was never the original ECW, and of everybody in the battle royal, one.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Hold on.
One ECW original in the whole battle royal. Stevie Richards.
What about you? Forgot Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, Dreamer too.
Was Tommy even in the? Was Tommy in there?
Yeah, Tommy.
He was in there.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Too, the way it's written here, it blurred my mind. I had the wrong glasses on for one thing. I'm being a very, very, very poor eye patient. Okay, so Tommy Dreamer. Okay, but even still,
That's
24
2.
people, and 2 of them are ECW originals.
Yeah, I would say you could go 2.5 originals because I count Punk as a hybrid, even though he wasn't in the original, but could have been.
But he's not in the Battle Royal.
He's not in the battle royal.
Oh,
He was in
fuck.
Money in the Bank.
Oh yeah, you're right. Never mind.
Matter of
He's not in the
fact,
Battle Royal.
spoiler alert, he comes up later in that match. But anyway, yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, Jeff, what was it like seeing this match live and everything like that?
I think
How
I was in the
close were you?
shitter. I think I was in the shitter at this point. No, so was the match. No. Okay, so
Shitter.
yeah, pretty much. The haha every WrestleMania is in the Bob Uecker seats. I think I was in Bob Uecker's bitches seat is where I was for this WrestleMania. I was I was so far out of the stadium. I was almost at Disney World watching WrestleMania. I was that far away, but it was like I said, I was there. It's one of those you're in the building. I'm gonna have worse seats in 23 days because I'm in limited view, almost behind the screen. So it's gonna be an interesting experience in a few weeks. But
Jeff spent his WrestleMania experience watching Peacock on his phone while sitting.
100% inaccurate because I don't do that actually. And luckily for me, at least at SoFi, the screens are brand new and they are wonderful. So this WrestleMania, again, it was more about once the card actually shaped out for my dad anyway, and it was about Flair and it was about Undertaker being in the main event.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
There you go.
And we got an Undertaker experience after sunset in the last match of the show. I mean, that's just goosebumps. So,
Yeah.
but again, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
We're gonna live ourselves.
But yeah, this is.
But yeah, going through.
There you go. You don't need. I will say we could do it for the other matches, but leave the whole career retrospectives out of the battle royal because we already did most of them, and it's going to take ages to figure out who we have and haven't done. So just scrap that.
I mean, I did look it up. I think that's the only career retrospectives we were going to do anyway. So everyone else, I think we've done.
There you go.
But anyhow,
Perfect.
Going through the actual show, the commentators were Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross for Raw, Michael Cole and Jonathan Coachman for SmackDown, Joey Styles and Taz for ECW. For some strange reason, I don't know what I was thinking, I have Michael Cole written down twice. So I guess Michael Cole cloned himself on the show and was commentating for Raw and SmackDown.
Could
Plot
you
twist.
imagine
Plot
that?
twist. Michael Cole's
Plot
twist. Michael Cole's a stand user.
Oh no!
Damn it.
What the hell would his stand be?
But yeah, we had
Jesus. I don't want to think about that.
Mike would know.
No,
But yeah, we had
I
the,
know what his stand would be. It would be the Apple software. Cause
Yep. But anyhow, we had the national anthem. It was performed by John Legend. He did a really good job. I mean, I typically don't crap anyways when people sing the national anthem because it's the national anthem. You really can't be too harsh on it. But he did a really good job here. Like he might have been the best one that I've heard. Yeah,
my man done brought the go.
Yeah, he did.
He's definitely the best I've seen do a WWE show that isn't named Lillian Garcia.
Yes.
Excuse my I'm your Huckleberry moment.
Yeah,
Can we call an audible and say no career? Because I forgot to do the research ahead of time. No career retrospective on John Legend because I forgot to do the research.
Yeah.
Just know if you know John Legend, you know. If you don't, look him up and listen to his music, and you'll know John Legend. There you go.
The man is good.
Yes.
We had the intro video package where they talked about how all the superstars work their asses off to get to WrestleMania and how they're going to make the name for themselves and everything like that. They mainly showed about everybody, which was cool. Then we had the first match on the show. It was the Belfast Brawl. It was JBL versus Finley with Hornswoggle. The reason for this match was this was right after Hornswoggle was the illegitimate son for Vince McMahon because they had to change it because Mr. Kennedy was suspended, so they had to scramble to come up with something.
Real quick, I think Jeff had his hand up for something.
I was just shaking my head in disbelief about this stupid match show. How was it bad?
So eventually Vince McMahon was going to teach Hornswoggle some tough love. And Finley kept intervening. So eventually he had a cage match, and Jbl attacked Finley from behind during the cage match and handcuffed Finley to the rope. And after Vince McMahon was done teaching his son tough love, JBL just beat the crap out of Hornswoggle. It was the worst beating I think Hornswoggle has ever suffered up to that point in the WWE at that time.
Easy for me to say. Say what you will about him. Dylan Postle is a bumping son of a bitch.
Yes.
Yeah. So eventually Vince McMahon wanted an apology from JBL, and JBL apologized that he didn't do it sooner and revealed, I don't even remember how he knew, but he revealed that he knew that Finley was really Hornswoggle's father.
I don't think JBL ever actually specified how he knew. He just said, I have it on very good authority.
And
I have it on good authority.
I have a good...
He is not your son.
He has it on good authority. Did he get his good authority from Booker T? From Booker T in his main event Mafia days, when he was trying to do a Jamaican accent. Look at these bumps.
But then Finley revealed that he actually was Hornswoggle's father, and he wanted to beat the crap out of JBL. And JBL accepted his challenge for a WrestleMania match. He beat up Hornswoggle while he was in the hospital again, and the match was made at Belfast Brawl. Which made sense, even though I don't know what the difference between this and a hardcore match was. There was nothing Belfast in the match. It was just a regular hardcore match. But
except the shillelagh.
But yeah, that would have been there anyways.
Yeah,
because Finley always comes out with the shillelagh.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was used in the match, so
Yeah, Belfast Brawl because shillelagh. It's fine.
Finley's got to have his gimmick somehow, you know.
Yeah,
he's an Irish guy. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Anyway,
we had the start of the match. Finley comes out and
go
ahead, Jeff.
No,
sorry, go ahead.
He was just doing an Irish impression. Just go ahead on.
Okay. But yeah, Finley comes out, and this was when Hornswoggle made his return after being beaten down. I gave it away, obviously, but you should have seen the show by now. So I hope you guys have seen the show by now, because that would have been a massive spoiler right there. But
it's been 12 years. That's not a spoiler. It's like fucking hell. It's on Peacock, kids.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And before the match starts, Finley's running to the ring, and this ramp, by the way, this, Jeff, is long. By the way, it takes a while to run down to this ring.
It wasn't as long as it was in 2017, because I actually just watched Last Ride recently again, and the ramp they used when they came back to Orlando for 33 was 80 yards. That one going down, So yeah, which why Undertaker came up through the thing halfway down the ramp, because it's his last match in theory. He ain't gonna be walking 80 yards first. Fuck that noise.
Yeah.
40 feet just to get to the ring. God
Yeah,
damn.
no way.
Like, nope.
But yeah, so we had the match. JBL attacks Finley before the match. They brawl around for a bit. JBL throws Finley into the barricade, and he goes to throw him into the steps, but Finley reverses it, and JBL goes into the steps. He grabs a ton of weapons, but JBL is able to counteract it. He hits Finley off the head with a trash can lid. Well, not a lid, but just the actual trash can. And he beats him up with a kendo stick. There's one bit in the match where Hornswoggle hits Finley with the kendo stick. Not Finley, JBL with the kendo stick. And JBL gets like an actual like mark on his back from it because it's a kendo stick. That's obviously going to happen.
Yes.
But obviously JBL had to no-sell it because it was Hornswoggle doing it. But you could just tell that had to have killed. Good on JBL for not being able to sell it because I wouldn't have not have been able to. But then again, if I get hit with a kendo stick, because I'm skinny as hell, I'm obviously not going to be able to show as much restraint as JBL did.
Yeah.
So
Birdman cracks a rib.
Yeah. If you get hit full bore with a kendo stick, you're probably gonna end up broken in half.
I'm probably gonna be in the hospital like overnight.
Wait,
so.
it's WWE in 2008 local medical facility.
I don't think it was quite that bad yet, but JBL beats up Finley. He suplexes him onto a chair. Eventually, Finley mounts a comeback, and he just goes off on JBL. He hits him like 3 times off the head with a trash can lid, and he hits him with a cookie sheet. It was really brutal. Eventually, JBL starts trying to beat up Hornswoggle again right in front of Finley. It's like, what are you thinking, dude? He drop kicks him from when he bounces his head off the wall announce table like 3 times, throws him into the steps. Eventually, JBL he puts JBL in the ring, and Finley goes into the ring, and he goes for a suicide dive, which Finley never does in his career. And JBL hits Finley right off the head with a trash can lid.
This was as bad, or maybe a slightly less bad as the Jericho Benoit one, because it was like the same trajectory and everything, and JBL didn't hold back either, and Finley didn't even have his hands protecting him. Like, he took this thing flush on the Chrome Dome. It was brutal, dude.
JBL puts him in the ring. Finley, he goes for the cover. Finley kicks out. There's a table set up in the corner, and that Finley set up earlier. And JBL goes to hit Finley off the head with the steps, but Finley counters with a drop toe hold. And JBL also in this match abuses Hornswoggle throughout much of it. He attacks him on the outside at one point. He takes a trash can and just throws it right at Hornswoggle, which I thought was hilarious.
Chucks the shit out of him.
And Finley just goes off on JBL. He hits him off the skull with the shillelagh, but since JBL rolls out of the ring, he can't go for the pin, so I thought it was a good way to protect the shillelagh shot because that was something they cared about. He throws Finley through the announce tape. He throws JBL through the table set up in the corner, and then eventually Finley grabs the steps, but JBL hits him in the knee with a kendo stick, and Finley falls face first, and the steps go into his face, and it allows JBL to hit the clothesline from hell for the win. And JBL wins. I guess it made sense for JBL to win, considering the fact that there was more stuff they were going to do with JBL long term, anyways, because they wanted him in the title program and stuff. Really, no one was going to hurt or benefit from a win or loss here. So, because Finley's a bad guy, anyways, I think Finley's a company guy. He's willing to put over people.
He's a company guy. He's been in the business for like 25 years at that point. Finley is all set.
This was Finley's first, like, not necessarily high-profile, but first, like, big match at WrestleMania that he had that wasn't, like, a Money in the Bank match or anything like that, so I thought that was pretty cool for Finley.
He'd been in the 2, I believe, prior to this. He wasn't in 05.
He had.
But I believe he was in 06
and 07, yeah.
So I thought this match was pretty good, actually. I gave it, like, 3 1/4 stars. I thought it felt like an actual fight, and the right person won at the end of the day. So yeah, Casey, we'll start with you. What'd you think of this match?
I'm gonna say 3.5. I was a big hardcore / extreme wrestling fan at this time. I loved the over the top violence. I loved all the weapons, and if you're that kind of guy, this match will absolutely get on top of your boo boo.
Yeah.
James?
Honestly, I was very shocked, and with considering the workers involved at the time they were involved in this, because they were nowhere near their prime. It really was way better than I thought it would be. It was a really good opener, to be fair, even despite the crazy fucking storyline. I was shocked. It came across well on TV. I don't know how it was live, Jeff, but for me on TV, I give it 3.5 too. Why, it was bad?
Jeff?
Was it bad on TV?
So again, it's I was not a fan of the whole story to be. Why? Anyway, hang on. Sorry. I don't. I wasn't a fan of the story. I wasn't a fan of the match. Again, as a standalone, it's a hardcore match. Okay, it was okay to watch, but I just didn't enjoy the story leading up to it, which hurt it for me. I thought the whole illegitimate son thing was so dumb, and the fact that they just completely went off it and didn't even give us a how did John know? Like how was this a thing? It fell very, very flat for me. So that unfortunately ruined the enjoyment of the match for me. And at that point, it was one of those. The Battle Royal was what it was. The opening match, Money in the Bank next, because the first two outings had been so like, this is WrestleMania? Okay.
Yeah.
That is completely fair, yeah. I mean, sometimes people, it's all about the story sometimes, and if the story sucks, you know, if you don't enjoy the story, how can you enjoy the match for some people?
I mean, yeah.
For me,
so
I agree with what you're saying. I agree the story's so bad. I don't know what it was, but like in a vacuum, I think this looks fine. You know what I mean? Even with the crazy story backdrop that they had. I think the match over-delivered expectations, to be fair, considering what they had to work with, to be fair.
Right, no, I got you.
But that's just
next, Kim Kardashian's backstage. Yes, you heard me right. Kim Kardashian's backstage. This was obviously before the Kardashians become like big, so that's why they were at WrestleMania. But she's talking about the Money in the Bank ladder match coming up. I wouldn't be shocked if she had no idea like what anything was, so she was being fed a lot of stuff. But you know, she had a TV show at this time coming up, so it made sense for her to be on here and stuff. And Mr. Kennedy comes up and talks about how he's going to win the Money in the Bank ladder match again and become the first ever 2-time Money in the Bank ladder match winner. And when he walks off, Kim Kardashian tries to throw it back to the commentators. And Mr. Kennedy, because he has this thing where he says, Mr. Kennedy, he just comes back and he just is overly obnoxious about it and things like that. So
she legit jumped. It was funnier than shit.
It was so
I thought it was
good. So good.
I thought it was hilarious. I loved it.
I'm going to just put this in perspective, by the way. Not that I didn't mind at all that she barely had anything to do with this Mania, right? But she was supposed to have The Rock role here. She's supposed to be the host of this Mania. You wouldn't have known it with how she was used on the show. She was off for like 2 segments.
Yeah, I don't get it, yeah. And it wasn't like they announced it.
It's for the better.
Yes.
I mean, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they announced it in advance ahead of time anyways. I don't even think you knew she was the host to WrestleMania until the
Oh my
the
god,
show
that's
anyway.
right. Yeah, they announced it. They announced that really late, didn't they?
Yeah. To be fair, like had the Kardashians been bigger stars, they probably would have. So you can't really fault the WWE. This is that retrospective. We can't really look too much into that. So
yeah, fair enough.
Now, if you want to career retrospectives on Kim Kardashian, just look up Kim Kardashian. Yeah.
Actually, no. Don't look up Kim Kardashian. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Turn on your safe search when you do.
Yes.
Turn on the safe search, kid.
Yes. Turn on the safe search. Exactly what Jeff said.
Do not try this at home, kids. Adult content ahead. Oh, my God. Anyway, carry on.
Next, we had the Money in the Bank ladder match. It was John Morrison versus Carlito versus Shelton Benjamin versus CM Punk versus Mr. Kennedy versus MVP versus Chris Jericho. John Morrison was the one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions at the time, and MVP was the United States Champion at this time. Chris Jericho was the Intercontinental Champion at this time. He had just won it for a record 8th time at this time.
A lot of champions in this match.
I know. Everybody had a qualifying match to qualify for this match. There was some feuds in the match, like MVP and Jericho were going at it in the weeks leading up to it and things like that. But I missed the Money in the Bank ladder match at Mania just because it's an easy way to get people on the show without having to write a storyline or anything like that. I like the stories and stuff, but sometimes it's nice to get guys on the show. And this is a way to not have to have a story to get people on the show because the Money in the Bank ladder match is the story pretty much.
Yeah,
so,
but go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to say, make sure you explain why Chris Jericho's in the match and not the Intercontinental Champion before him.
So, yeah, I was about to say that. So, Jeff Hardy was meant to be in this match. He was pegged to win Money in the Bank, too, because they were really launching the rocket ship on Jeff Hardy. He had just had the WWE title match with Randy Orton a couple months before this. He was the final 2 in the Elimination Chamber match. 2008 was going to be the year of Jeff Hardy. I mean, it still ended up being the year of Jeff Hardy, but it came later than it should have. Jeff Hardy was he himself qualified for this match. However, he failed a wellness policy and was suspended for 60 days, which is why he dropped the Intercontinental Championship to Chris Jericho, I think like 2 weeks before WrestleMania. So,
hey, you want a career retrospective on Hardy? Nothing's changed. In fact, it's gotten worse. There you
Pick
go.
your local mugshot website.
There you go.
But so they obviously had to pivot.
Hey, Matt. Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Casey,
I apologize.
I don't know. Why don't you take us through this match? Talk about the match and everything like that.
Uh-oh.
I would love to, but this has been the week from hell. I have not had an opportunity to rewatch the show.
Yeah,
so
he's
James,
going
you
by
want to talk about it?
memory. I watched the show. Jeff, where'd you go? Where's the camera going?
I hang on. I'll be back. Hang on. Stay on.
Okay.
Or should I take us through?
No, I'll go.
Should I take us through this match?
I got it.
Figure this shit out.
Okay.
So there was some crazy spots in this matchup. I'm gonna just get this out of the way now. This is one of the best up there Money in the Bank ladder matches that has ever taken place. I will say that right now. We had to start off the match. We had John Morrison. He did a moonsault right at the start of the match with a freaking ladder in hand onto everybody. I am shocked he didn't kill anybody with this. That was a gnarly move. And then
Can I also say Shelton Benjamin is so underrated.
Yeah, Shelton Benjamin, man, he was always the highlight of these matches. He went and he was springing up onto the ladder. I think he did a ladder bridge and he just ran up this thing like no problem. You know, like a freaking Cheshire cat just crawling up that thing. And then there was a couple of times where he was going up there and at one point everybody was fighting on top of the ladder. Shelton Benjamin eventually, after a whole squabble in the ring, after a bunch of finisher sequences, he's climbing up this ladder. Carlito sees him climbing up this ladder, and he proceeds to topple this ladder over, and Shelton Benjamin flip dives off the damn ladder because he's gotten tilted off it right into the ladder and proceeds to die. He died, big time died. The
reaction that Carlito has was not a word.
And Kennedy too. There was at one point where CM Punk gets Green Bay plunged onto the freaking ladder, which looked like it damn near killed him too. From Mr. Kennedy. That was a scary spot, but also brutal at the same time, and it looked great on TV. Yes. I'll tell you. Poor Punk though, Jesus Christ. Then I think at one point, I think Jericho was climbing up the top of the ladder. Carlito hits as JR dubbed it, a WrestleMania-sized backstabber right onto him, which is basically near the top of the ladder. He climbs up, tries to go for the briefcase, and I think at some point Jericho puts him in the walls after climbing up again to meet him. That he did
it to John Morrison.
TLC 3 spot, TLC 3 and 4 spot. onto Carlito here. That had to have been nostalgic for
Which
him.
was
That was
actually
more-
first done. It was actually first done him and Benoit in the 01 Rumble ladder match. To be fair,
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
And he did it to John Morrison. Jericho did it to John
Yeah.
Morrison.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah, because Morrison was very athletic.
there's a lot of shit going on in this match. No worries.
Yeah, there
So
was
I,
Yeah.
so many spots.
I went off briefly. Did anybody mention the Morrison ladder moonsault thing?
Yes,
already?
I did.
We
Right
did,
at the
yeah.
start. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, that even as far away as I was sitting, that was a holy shit moment.
That was
That was
a holy
awesome.
shit moment.
That's the moment where Jeff went, okay, now this feels like Mania. All right, John
Well,
Morrison,
you know what? You're not far off, brother. For
Yeah.
real.
Dude,
that was
back-
one of those like, all right. There we go.
How about the Shelton Benjamin dying spot? How'd you feel about that one? Live.
I was ready to go down there and find a priest for Shelton. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
oh my god,
Time for last rites.
Oh my god, dude.
That's it.
It was so
that was bananas.
And then
like all these Money in the and again, Money in the Bank has become. I mean, it was at least in the first few years such a huge producer of WrestleMania moments, and this one definitely had its fair share. Like I said, the moonsault with Morrison, the thing with Benjamin, Jericho doing the walls across the ladder. You haven't got there yet, Owen, so I'm gonna jump ahead. Forgive me, but MVP seeming like he's going to get there, and Matt
then
Hardy
Matt
comes
Hardy
back and
came
just
out and
fade
twist of
off the
fate.
damn ladder.
Twist
which
of
is
fate
bananas.
off the ladder was so great. That was so great.
Mm.
And by the
So,
way,
yeah.
And by the way, as a SmackDown kid, especially at that time, that was especially good for me as a kid, man, because I hated MVP
Yeah.
for what he did to Matt. So like seeing him
Right.
come back and twist of fading him off that damn thing was so rewarding, right?
That was.
Yeah.
And then
That
like
was one of those moments
yes,
for
yeah,
you.
right. And like the crowd went nuts for that. What a pop! And then during the match, at some point too, I think everybody just about dies. I think there was at one point where Kennedy and I believe Jericho takes a stun gun. I might get the people wrong there. I think I may have gotten Jericho wrong, but I think it was Jericho. But Kennedy goes onto the top rope, right? Off this top of the ladder. Full on gets crotched onto the fucking ropes. And I mean, he took
Oh,
this
yeah.
thing flush.
Yeah.
Flush. There was no way you could protect yourself properly unless you had a cup underneath your trunks. There's no way.
Yeah,
Mm.
Ken straight took that bump on his Andersons. It was
Ah, yes. There we
Nice.
go. That was perfect.
Andersons. Anyway,
Andersons. Yeah. there you go. The
with
Kennedy.
the grind, the grind. Anyway, go on.
Oh no, my Kennedys. There you go.
Like Ken
Kennedys.
Kennedy's.
My Kennedys. Yeah, he went and took that thing flush.
God bless him, though. God bless him.
It leads up to the end of the match in what would be, we wouldn't know it at the time, and I know JJ would have appreciated it if they actually aired this during the WrestleMania 28 build-up. The first of many Jericho and CM Punk interactions where Punk would not stay down. They did just about everything. One more spot to set up for that spot. They recreated the Joey Mercury spot with John Morrison, although a lot more safer, admittedly.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit. At least nobody ended up with a busted face this time. Just at least we got right. So yeah, Punk was crawling up and Jericho kept knocking him down, and he screams at him, "Stay down, stay down." You're starting to see a little hints at like heel Jericho start to come out, right? And Punk just wouldn't stay down. He kept coming up. He kept climbing up, and then eventually Punk knocks Jericho off the ladder just enough to get his leg stuck in between the ladder. Jericho couldn't even pull himself out. It looked like it was killing him. And like he was trapped.
Yeah.
He was trapped. Unless he fell, he was screwed. And he knew if he fell, Punk was going to get that case. So he literally is seeing Punk right there as he's trapped in this ladder. Punk gets the briefcase to a massive pop. Massive.
Oh yeah,
pop,
we popped
man.
for it. We did.
That was
we absolutely did.
That was such a great pop. We could hear it on TV.
Yep.
And an ECW guy, despite all the crap, even though he would go to Raw later, won Money in the Bank. That was so cool, man. That was really.
It was
really
the only
cool.
time that the ECW. Well, I mean, not because Rob wasn't technically ECW brand when he became the Money in the Bank champion. So yeah, it was the only time an active signed ECW brand star won the Money in the Bank match. So there you go.
So yeah, I love this match. I give it like 4.5 stars. It's a great Money in the Bank ladder match here. It might be like one of the best ones. If we were just counting the Mania ones, it would probably be like top 3. But there's one spot I want to make sure that we don't ignore because it was really important to the story. And that's when Kennedy's about to grab the briefcase and CM Punk hits Mr. Kennedy off the head with a ladder and knocks him down. And this is important because
because
this is how Kennedy won.
23, he did that to Punk. That's right.
Yeah. So really great callback right there. I don't think anybody expected that CM Punk was going to win the Money in the Bank match because, it was just he wasn't a Vince McMahon guy at this time.
Everybody really picked Kennedy. I remember there was a lot of people that thought it was a surefire win for Kennedy at this time.
I was one of them. I was one of them.
Yeah.
I thought sure that because they'd pivoted and made sure that Jeff Hardy got replaced rather than just he wasn't there, I thought it was going to be Jericho originally.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But yeah, Jeff, what was it like seeing this match live? It must have been crazy live.
It was one of those. I've been saying this a lot in the build up to Mania here this year. I'm sitting right over here, like about 5 feet from where I am now, when WrestleMania had its first Money in the Bank match here in LA, and I told my 22-year-old said you're gonna go back when it hits LA Canada again. So I'm keeping a promise to myself on that front. But I always loved the Money in the Bank match. The first 3 were so good. And this one, I was glad to be part of it live because I mean, you had some great, again, the guys involved here were so among my favorites. I mean, I'm trying to get the list here. At the time, I loved Punk. I thought he was a great character on television, subsequent years and whatever it was. Shelton was always the star of Money in the Bank for me. He always went above and beyond, did the craziest spots, the craziest shit. He's always over for me. Again, I thought Jericho was going to win because they purposely put him in the match to take Jeff Hardy out because of the wellness thing. Okay, well, it looks like Jeff Hardy was earmarked to win, so they'll have Jericho win instead. But they pivoted. They gave it to Punk, as you said. Not a Vince guy, so it was a surprise. Carlito, I'm not sure how I feel about Carlito. I mean, at the time, I was like, the thing with Flair kind of petered out.
Oh, they buried him so bad after that.
Yeah, they did. They did. Like once Flair was taken off television, Carlito floundered. I mean, I remember this WrestleMania specifically for the commercial that aired during WrestleMania of him and Maria at the table with the stupid seagull. That was like that's what we're giving Carly this year, really? All right,
I'm glad he at least got a Money in the Bank moment. To be fair, I mean he had a hell of a showing there. And then MVP, Kennedy and Morrison, I liked all 3 of those guys. It's so funny. You go back and you JJ's doing right now a Throwback Thursday on his channel, and he's airing some of the old Talk Wrestlings and the old No DQ videos, and he actually aired the second ever Talk Wrestling episode today, and I hate watching myself. That's why I'm not even looking at the screen right now. I'm just not even. I'm not there.
I feel the same way, Jeff.
But watching the second Talk Wrestling and listen to myself talk about Johnny Nitro's name change and how stupid it was. And it's like, I can't think of anything of him except as John Morrison now, looking back. Yeah, like, he's not Johnny Nitro. He's not Johnny Mundo. He's not Johnny Beck. It's just John Morrison.
Although Johnny Mundo was a dope name, to be fair. Johnny Mundo might be the best.
And he's damn sure. Yeah. And he's damn sure not Johnny Elite.
No. So, but when I go back and watch myself in July of 2007, I go, oh God, you're so stupid, Jeff. Oh, so bad. So that was fun to watch, but it's like, I mean, some of the answers I gave on just like basic questions, I'm like, oh my God, I've gotten so much fucking better. Oh, I'm so bad.
I think we all feel that.
Jeff Meacham has evolved into a legendary Pokemon as opposed to a prepubescent.
Jeff Meacham. Anyway, and we'll carry on. There, I don't know what the fuck just happened. That's okay. Kennedy, Morrison, and wow, that was scary. I'm glad I'm looking at the screen. I probably would scare myself more.
Oh my God, I almost passed the fuck out. I didn't expect that at all.
Jesus.
I didn't expect him to go Meacham. He sounded like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings.
That's right.
I was gonna say, I didn't realize Gollum had become a Pokemon.
I went from a Pikachu impersonation to the worst set of movies in the history of the universe. Got it. Okay, cool. Good to know.
That's fair.
Okay. So now it's Jar Jar. So that went from a good sock. Okay, cool. We're good. Now.
There we go. May the 40s be with you, by the way.
To be fair, we own that franchise. That's the only reason I got to shill it. Anyway,
There you go.
But I'll actually be at Star Wars Land on Monday as a guest. I'm gonna go back there and play with. I've got friends I'm signing in. And they want to do Star Wars. I'm like, okay, I can do that.
There you go.
Anyway, so MVP, Kennedy, and Morrison. The spot with MVP and Matt Hardy was great because you knew we were finally getting the Hardy MVP payoff. I was like, yes, because that had been building, like you guys said, that had been building and building for the better half of most of the second half of 2007.
Right,
so I was like, all right, here we go. Finally gonna get this shit paid off, and Matt beat him at Backlash. So there you go. It worked out. And MVP had been champion since he beat Benoit for the title. He was champion almost the whole year. So it was cool to finally see MVP get his comeuppance and a major story payoff. God forbid we have long-term storytelling payoff, but it did. So great Money in the Bank match. I'm glad that was the one I got to see.
Yeah. Then a few months later, CM Punk would actually cash in the Money in the Bank contract on Edge. And it was very cool because it was Edge getting his comeuppance for doing that the two previous times when he had the Money in the Bank briefcase. So it was kind of full circle right there. So
you figure the main event program of this show started with a cash-in by Edge. So
yeah.
Circle of Life, and we own that shit too.
There you go.
So then we had the Hall of Fame segment. Where they showed the Hall of Fame ceremony from the previous night, and they had all the guys come out. Jeff, if you want to talk about it, since you were there live and you won't get another chance.
I'm glad you said it like that because the way you said it is a complete misnomer. So, Jack and Jerry Briscoe were actually there because they were still alive. Gordon Soley was not there, but his family was. Rocky Johnson was there because he was alive-ish. I mean, Rocky was kind of what it was in 08. Peter Maivia was not there. His wife and daughter were there, of course, Ada and Leah. Eddie Graham, not there, also passed away. Mike Graham was there. Mae Young was still alive, God bless her. And Ric Flair, of course, his family was there because he was getting ready for the match of his life. So we only really saw out on the stage the Briscoes are one unit, but we'll still count 2 people. 4 people that were actually inducted into the Hall of Fame the night before because everybody was either posthumous or Flair was backstage. It was right. I think that's the most. And again, I don't have the stats in front of me. I'm not sitting here stat boying and everything, but I'm pretty sure that was the most posthumous heavy Hall of Fame class we ever had.
Yeah. But a really good class though.
And that was honestly, Hall of Fame was the reason I went back there in 2008.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Because Ric Flair was getting inducted, and I knew that I had to be there for that. I'd been there for Hogan.
Right.
Undertaker wasn't in that place in his career yet, so that wasn't on my mind at that point. I said to myself, if it ever happens, I'm going to go. Didn't get to go when he was inducted. But, like I said, I announced yesterday, I get to go meet him WrestleMania Saturday. God, I'm losing my shit thinking about it.
You should be. God damn.
Yeah, it's
a legend.
Right? It's a fucking Undertaker, right? But I will still forever ha-ha about that Hall of Fame ceremony because somewhere in the back of my mind, The Rock is still giving his speech. and honestly, it's not even the speech; it's the damn promo before the speech.
Yeah, where he's just shitting all over
They gave
everybody.
Dwayne so much goddamn time to shit on everybody and to plant that little nugget between him and John. It's like, and that took 4 goddamn years to pay off. It's like, seriously, he went so long. Hunter was out there not to have reverence for Flair. He was out there as a goddamn governor to make sure Flair stayed on time.
That
It was so ridiculous. It was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because Dwayne just would not shut the hell up. It was so bad. I will say this though, and anybody that did not, well, actually nobody saw the Hall of Fame live except people that were in the Amway Arena.
Right. Yeah.
Flair did mention Chris Benoit during his induction.
Really?
For the record.
Ooh,
He did.
really? I didn't know that.
He did. Yeah. There's a point in the DVD and then the Peacock broadcast where he's talking about that era of the Horsemen, and it sounds like he says Mongo and Malenko twice. The first time he actually did mention Chris's name out loud first. And this is, like you said, less than a year after. And half the crowd went, ooh, the other crowd was clapping. Like, yeah, that's right. Mention him, goddammit. Seriously. Because, whatever happened in that house in Atlanta in 2007, before the last 3 days of his life, top 10 all-time wrestlers.
Yeah.
And, goddammit, he was a Horseman. And if you're going to put Flair in, not knowing the Horsemen were going to go in 4 years later as just that one set of Horsemen because they were the best Horsemen, let's be real. Right. If Flair's going to mention the Horsemen, he's going to mention everybody. And he did. Yeah. And I know for a fact he went back there and, they gave him his flowers and everything. And then Hunter kind of gave him a look like, not good. And you've never seen it on any subsequent DVD or home video or Peacock release because it was right away.
Yeah. Next. Yep.
The only ones that saw it were the people that were there, and you can't edit memories. You cannot edit memories.
No.
And memories alone.
Don't start. No. Do not do that to me right now.
All right. We'll save it for later.
But yeah, it was. Yeah, please do. It was ballsy. But he did it, and anyway, on the stage, it's so funny to see the kids now. When you look back, because figure Reed's gone. Megan is more well known now for being Conrad Thompson's wife.
Yeah,
as opposed to just Ric Flair's daughter, right? And then Ashley with that bob cut. That's tremendous to me. That's still funnier than hell to see to this day. But anyway.
So yeah, and I believe this is still the case. Ric Flair is the only active wrestler to go into the Hall of Fame.
No, because technically Sting didn't retire until he already stepped on stage.
That's right. Yeah.
So technically, no. Unofficially, officially, yes. Because Sting didn't have a match in WWE until after he. Sting didn't have a match until after he was inducted because he went to AEW and wrestled, but. Unofficially, officially, Flair is the only one.
So then next, Snoop Dogg gets interviewed, and he's talking about the Playboy Bunny Lumberjill match or Lumberjack match. It's not Lumberjill.
No, Lumberjill, you're good. Lumberjill, you're good.
And he's just saying all this type of stuff, and then he gets interrupted by Santino, who basically threatens that he'll beat him up if he interferes in the match. And Snoop Dogg says that if you even try me, I will drop you where you stand, pretty much. And this leads to Santino walking off. And then Mick Foley comes up, and he has like a nickname. I think it's like Mick Drizzle or something. I don't even remember
Mick
what it was.
Drizzle
It was probably much better.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it was probably something.
With Snoop Dogg. No. You're not the best part of that whole thing. So. For no particular reason, Festus was standing there next to Snoop Dogg.
Oh, yeah.
And for no particular reason.
And then here comes Mick Foley.
God bless Doc Gallows. Like, seriously, what a freaking soldier. A good soldier, good brother.
Brothers.
Snoop Dogg actually threatened Santino with Festus, and he grabs the bell. Don't ring the bell, and he rings the bell. Of course, Festus doesn't. Gimmick and chases Santino away.
That's right.
That's why Santino bailed, because he got ran off by Doc Gallows, and then that's when Mick. What do you think of that, Mick? And for shizzle, and it was like the whitest guy saying shizzle. It's just whiter than me, which is an accomplishment.
And whiter than me
with freaking blinged out Socko. It's like, did this really have to be a thing?
Then he goes full on comedy mankind, and he goes, "Have a nice drizzle." Oh my God!
Have a nice drizzle, and it's like, stop, Mick, stop, no.
Go ahead.
You call somebody being whiter than you an accomplishment, yet I'm right here.
Yeah, I'm pretty.
I'm right here.
Yeah, we're all
okay. Yeah, to be fair, but you guys also have a slightly larger cool factor than I do, because you're not freaking born in Cali and still freaking white meat baby face. Anyway,
True.
Well, life's not over yet, so.
I find myself sitting there going, "Oh God, let's do this match right." And then the next match is Umaga and Batista. I'm like, "Oh, I have regrets."
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you want a career retrospective, I don't think we've done a career retrospective on Snoop Dogg, have we?
LBC,
In wrestling,
LBC, WWE Hall of Famer, high as a kite.
Yep.
Next, there
There you go.
Exactly.
Jeff's not a
Home of the worst frog
Next-
splash known to man. There we go. Continue.
Yeah.
Well,
Next we had
no, Vicky Guerrero, 2010.
Nah, I'd put that above Snoop's because at least Vicky put her full body weight into it. Yeah.
Is that where they closed the stadium early? Anyway, carry on. Never mind. Anyway,
Next was the battle for
love you,
Grand
Vicky. I'm just
Supremacy
fucking-
singles match. It was SmackDown's Batista versus Monday Night Raw's Umaga, or as William Regal likes to say, Yamanga.
Yamanga! Yeah, he freaking announced
It was
it.
so
They
good.
had him announce it. So Teddy Long announces Batista, and William Regal announces Umaga, and he says it. He says Yamanga! Yamanga
It was
comes
awesome. I
out.
loved it.
Honestly, this match was 5 stars for that alone. I don't care. He said Yamanga. I'm a happy James. That's it.
But yeah, going through this, you're probably wondering why isn't ECW there? That's also a brand. Yeah, ECW I guess wasn't allowed to play this.
it was brand supremacy.
Brand
Fill your own
supremacy.
sentence in. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. Brand supremacy.
But,
AKA not ECW.
That's
Yeah.
right.
The reason this was going on is because William Regal was the general manager of Raw at this time, and he issued a challenge for SmackDown to send their best superstar. No, I believe that was actually Vicky Guerrero that basically made the challenge, and William Regal said that he was going to send Umaga or Yamanga, as he likes to say. And Batista came into Vicky Guerrero's office, and he wanted to represent SmackDown. And basically, because Maurice talked Vicky Guerrero into it, it made Vicky Guerrero accept. I don't know if Vicky Guerrero was sending Batista there to get injured really bad, or if she actually thought Batista was going to win. But I don't really know. They didn't really explain that. But they would get into brawls. Umaga cost Batista the United States Championship at one point, and we were off to the races. This match was pretty decent. Batista and Umaga go at it. Batista fights off Umaga, clotheslines him out of the ring. He has the advantage for a bit, and then Umaga takes control. He hits a really cool spinning heel kick on Batista, and then a really cool high kick, which sends him out of the ring. Umaga dominates the matchup for a while. He hits a really cool clothesline. He goes for a diving headbutt. Batista moves out of the way. And Batista mounts a little bit of a comeback, but he gets immediately cut off by Umaga. He goes for that running hip attack in the corner, but Batista, he never gets to put Batista in position for it because Batista's too strong for it. And he tries to go for the Samoan spike. Batista ducks, hits a spine buster, and hits a Batista bomb. However, it really wasn't a Batista bomb. It was more of a power bomb where Batista just kind of like fell over because, if you ever seen what Umaga looked like, you would understand. I don't want to body shame Umaga since he's no longer with us also. So,
That's a big boy.
He was a big
And
boy.
not to mention, he was a big boy, but he was actually really freaking good in the ring.
He
was.
was so athletic here too. By the way, he was just a marvel to watch.
Yeah.
yeah. So Batista
That
wins the
entire
match.
family just astounds me with as big as they've been,
Like-
and they're still they move like freaking cruiserweights. It's ridiculous.
Like
Yeah.
somebody that size should not be able to move the way Umaga did.
That
Umaga
wheel-
or Kishi or Yoko in his prime, any of them.
Bro,
it's crazy.
but Umaga was the best out of all of them, only because, dude, that that wheel kick he does is so clean every time. Him and Rosie were so
And now we
underrated.
and now we have Solo Sikoa.
Yeah,
We do.
Solo, yeah.
He's really good.
Well, I mean, but Solo isn't as big as his dad by any stretch of the
He's
imagination.
not,
No.
he's not as big as his dad, but he can move like his dad.
Oh yeah, he can move. Oh yeah, exactly.
He's
yeah.
basically a hybrid of all of them. All
Yeah,
those
he
big
is.
for me.
spoons.
Yeah.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
But-
sorry, we're going off track here. Sorry.
But yeah, this match was pretty decent. I gave it like 2.5 stars. It just kind of ended abruptly. It was just kind of Batista. It was just basically Umaga dominating Batista, and then Batista just wins low.
Yeah.
It felt like this match got cut for time or something. I don't really know what happened here. I thought they really could have put together a pretty entertaining match, but the match was just way too short. It should have gone on longer. But I gave it like 2.5 stars. Jeff, what did you think?
If they cut this for time, explain the next match.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
James was saying
yeah.
that when it meant.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, what'd you think of this
Anyway,
match, Jeff?
It was what it was. I still will forever maintain that everything on this show before Sean and Rick, not counting the Money in the Bank match, was just kind of there for me.
All right, there you go.
Like honestly,
I get it. I'm with you there.
yeah. And,
So Casey, what did you?
yeah. Anyway,
Casey, what did you think?
I'm probably with you. I'd say 2.25, 2.5 stars. And it
James?
sucks to say that because I'm a big fan of both of these guys, especially at this point in their careers. They really could have had the chance to put on a hell of a fight.
Yeah.
Case, figure it this way: but Batista's one big four away from SummerSlam main eventing with John, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
Where he
where he
would
not kind of
break
hell to sell.
where he would break John Cena's damn neck.
Yeah, and then Umaga unfortunately had already WWE peaked. He had the match with John at the 07 Rumble. He had the match with Lashley that he represented Mr. McMahon and Bobby represented others. So, Lashley, Umaga had kind of already his WWE peak at this point. Once he got involved in the program with Vince and the ECW Championship, and they came out on the short end of that, at the very end of it, Eddie kind of floundered, and it's sad, but he did.
It's really sad. He was so good.
He was.
But yeah, James, what do you think of this match?
I thought it was all right. I will say Umaga watching him was a highlight. So it bumps it up slightly for me, and I actually gave it 3 stars only because of that and the fact that Batista was able to fucking deadlift him, even though he lost his footing for the Batista bomb. I had to give him props for that.
Don't forget the other 2 stars for the Umanga. I know.
Yeah, Umanga. Yeah, no. Despite what I said earlier, I was obviously kidding. I cannot give that match 5 stars for the reasons we said.
You can give Umanga 5 stars, but not the match.
No, not at all.
But yeah, unfortunately, I know we've done a career retrospective on Umaga, but unfortunately, I just say this was his last WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I almost did, yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, this was his last WrestleMania because he was injured going into 25, and then obviously he passed away in 09. He was released anyways, but it's really a shame that this was his last WrestleMania.
Yeah, he did do the tour with Hogan in Australia at the end of 09 before I think he actually passed right after that tour, so
yeah.
He made that impact? I don't think so.
I remember.
I mean, he was back before, but not.
He was supposed to be, I think, in Hogan's TNA, and then that didn't pan out because of the issues he had. And he ended up passing away shortly after. Unfortunately,
Floyd Mayweather's backstage. I thought something was going to happen, but nothing happened. It just showed him getting ready for his match with the Big Show.
There you go.
I was gonna have to, James. I'm gonna let you take this next match because this is gonna be you very passionate. It was for the ECW Championship. It was Chavo Guerrero Jr. defending against Kane.
Oh boy, where to begin? You had so much. You had high hopes. You had high hopes for ECW. Yeah, you had the Battle Royal. It was on the pre-show, but at least they had a Battle Royal for the ECW Championship, right? All right, cool. Then you had an ECW guy win the Money in the Bank briefcase, and it's like, ooh, okay, yay, And then this match happened. They bring out Armando effing Estrada for this matchup to announce the participants for whatever reason, even though Tony Chimmel was right there. So Tony Chimmel,
he was the ECW GM.
Yeah. Tony Chimmel announces Armando Estrada, who then announces the ECW champion Chavo Guerrero, because why? I never understood why they did that, by the way, because they did that over and over again on ECW. I remember it was an Extreme Rules match between, like, Big Daddy V and Dreamer. He did the same fucking thing. So they do that here, and then he's waiting for Kane. Kane pyro goes off. Everybody gets spooked to shit because, of course, they do. Or they prepare and block their ears ahead of time, which is probably what Jeff did. Oh, fair enough.
Nope, he said he did not.
Fall down, go boom. It was bad.
fall down, go fall. You fell down from that shit? Oh no, I'm sorry.
Oh no,
Damn.
well, you know what? I take it back. It wasn't that Mania. The other Mania I was at, though, in 2000, I forgot he was teaming with Rikishi. So when he came out, after Rikishi came out, long story short, I had bought tickets for WrestleMania 2000 separate from my friends. So I was actually sitting on the stairwell next to my friend's seats because they were right on the aisle for where we were up in 400 and whatever the hell ever at the pond. And Kane's pyro went off. It knocked me down 4 steps. Legit, be like, oh, shit, 4 steps.
Fucking
Scared
hell.
the bejeebus out of me.
I'm just.
I mean, you remember, at 2000, we were right over the entryway.
Oh Jesus!
So this, oh shit! Yeah, it was
so
bad.
damn! So you got a face full.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Maybe later, but no.
Facial joke.
It's a vacation after all. Anyway, unfortunately, yeah. Kane's pyro always seems to, more so now than it did. Actually, I think I only went to a few shows before my car accident and I had the head trauma. But since the head trauma, the pyro for Kane especially, I mean, WWE pyro was loud, period, but Kane's pyro was especially concussion-y. Very, very much so.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I went off on a weird-ass tangent there. Carry on.
No, yeah.
So yeah, James, the ECW title match.
ECW title match. Kane has his pyro go boom. Jeff falls down. Everybody's scared. And then Kane's there. Just comes up from the corner. Chavo looks at him. He can't believe his eyes. I want to just put this in mind that this is a freaking dude who had a high-profile feud with Rey Mysterio not even a year prior to this. I'm just going to throw that out there.
And is carrying the ECW World Championship. Let's just fucking say it.
Yeah. ECW
and he had a
World
pretty good feud
Championship.
with and he had a pretty good feud with CM Punk right before this too for the title.
Yeah.
And then Kane goozles Chavo after Chavo runs into him like freaking Curly from the Three Stooges, lifts him up, drops him down with the choke slam. 1, 2, 3, we have a new champ. Taz is visibly pissed when he says, "What? That's it?" Joey Styles, legitimately, you can hear it in his voice. He wants to fucking go. He wants out of this shit.
Yeah.
This was his last pay-per-view on commentary, by the way.
I had never in my life felt so pissed off in my life seeing this then and now seeing this again. Still, it still irks me and grinds my gears, dude. And I don't know if it ever.
This was the only time the ECW.
It was the only time.
This is the only time the ECW champ.
It was the only fucking time the ECW championship was there. And then they just have it be a squash match. Like nothing. It was like nothing to them. They have dropped this brand down so badly to the point where it was fucking nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it pissed me off, especially if you're a fan of ECW. Like, and even if you're not a fan of ECW, why waste your fucking time? Just don't book the match. Just don't book the damn match.
I was watching recently they had the hell, who was doing the show? Oh, it was Conrad and Bruce Pritchard. It was the Pritchard Show podcast.
Right. Yeah.
And they were talking about No Way Out 08. And they're talking about No Way Out 08. And they brought up Rob being on RVD for sorry for being too informal. They brought up Rob Van Dam being on different podcasts in the recent in the previous few months or leading up to No Way Out, because he had been written out of storylines with a concussion, which was horse shit at the time. It's not so much horse shit now for Rob, but back then it was. And Conrad said, "Oh, Rob's, dissing the company," and it's like, I'm thinking to myself, number one, he was on my show, so he didn't. Number two, can you fucking blame him if he was?
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
think about it from Rob's perspective. This is the brand that he single-handedly spearheaded. Put that bug in Vince's ear. You can make money off this brand. There's still a buzz for ECW. So, Rob doesn't think this way, but internally, anybody else would be going, this is my bad. Like, I did this ECW. I convinced the old man to bring it back, and now it's just what it is.
And by the way,
there's a reason.
By the way, it's funny you mentioned that, because if anybody knows why, it's this man. Because, again, this is how I discovered Jeff in the freaking first place. Was via the Rob Van Dam interview that he discusses this on, by the way. Continue,
it's one of those, Rob was on my show. Rob and I did the solo interview in 2008 because he had been written out of WWE storylines and was not technically under contract at that point. And it was because he wasn't in the Royal Rumble. He didn't come back for the Rumble until 2009. He sat out of that company for over a year and a half. He was like, I'm done with this shit. And again, can you blame him?
No.
You know, even by 2007 when he was feuding with Randy Orton and he was written out, it's like the ECW brand was dead by December of 2006.
Yeah.
It was completely thrown away. And the only time you get the ECW championship defended on WWE's biggest stage, the only thing that lasted longer than the ECW championship match was a freaking buck rider riding a bull in the middle of a rodeo. And even then, it's 8 seconds is the goalpost.
Yeah,
it's bullshit.
This
it's
is just
so bad. It's so maddening. As a friend of so many people that were involved in ECW, and being a fan of ECW as I was toward the end of their original run, it's like, God, that right there. For all these things, I will sit here and defend Vince McMahon about, and Lord knows James and I get into shit about Vince all the time. I can't defend this at all. This is such crap.
No way.
Oh, it's awful. It's the worst.
Casey, anything you want to add to this?
Y'all said it all for me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, this is just so bad. This is like a 1 star.
This is a dud, is what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. It was just such a freaking waste. It was a waste of time. That's all it really was. Like, again, why couldn't you have actually treated ECW with freaking care, man? Like in my ECW rebooking, spoiler alert if you haven't watched it, by the way. Casey, where'd you go? Your camera went off. I legitimately...
Where has all our Casey's gone?
Here he is.
There he is. But no, I was like... I rebooked the ECW match to be, believe it or not, out of all things to book it, Mike Awesome versus Ken Kennedy. And I did this whole idea where it's like Mike Awesome was going on this redemption arc for like a whole year. Like to be the face of ECW, and he went through like all these different challenges to kind of get to that point. And it was really like, it wasn't even hard to book. You had so much history with ECW. The good, the bad, the ugly, that you could have told a great story within that brand. Dude, if I can make JBL love ECW, you could have given a fuck, alright? It wasn't hard. And it really pisses me off that they just completely shit the bed with this and didn't even try. Just grinds my gears.
They should have been so bad with this. Even Amber Heard's going, God, clean that up. Anyway,
exactly.
Exactly.
And by the way, that it's funny. It's funny you mentioned that, because she's hardcore, but not in a good way either. Anyway.
Next, we had a WrestleMania 24 ad. It was that Carlito beating up the seagull thing that Jeff talked about earlier, so there's no need to break that down.
Dude,
they played that shit in the arena. We're like, why do seriously? Okay, so the other thing about these matches, I could have gone to the bathroom. I actually went after this. I was so mad, like, oh hell with this nonsense. And I knew I had to hurry because I knew I heard the promo for what was coming up next. I'm like, well, God, now I got to really hurry and go potty. But yeah. They are that stupid Batista Umaga match. Then they have ECW squash, and then that damn commercial. It's like, man, I could have had a decent long-term shit. Now I got to hurry and excavate and get back quickly, you bastards.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I was irritated at the very least.
I will say this also. You mentioned this freaking ad, Owen. The first thing that comes to my head is, for some reason, it's in Yoda voice. WrestleMania 21 ad. This is not.
Yeah.
This is
what came to my head is why are we showing Why are we showing a WrestleMania 24 man when the shows are happening?
Yeah,
at this
yeah,
moment
yeah.
right
Honestly,
now? Like,
yeah, no bias here.
Yeah.
No bias.
because people already bought the show.
Nope.
That's why it's no buys. People already bought the show.
People already bought the show and they aired the ad. How? Why? Why didn't you give this more time? Why didn't you give the ECW championship at least 10 fucking minutes? You goddamn scoundrels!
Seriously,
Next-
think about how long that commercial was. They could have given that time to the match.
Exactly!
It was like a 2-minute promo. It's like, fuck me, man.
Dude,
Jesus,
it's not the greatest
got
match in the world.
match in the middle of the show. No, what? Okay, here we go. You know what really grinds my gears? Here we go.
You know, Peter Griffin.
So the only Royal Rumble, number one, Chavo's a world champion, and he's in the goddamn Rumble.
Yeah. Preach, Jeff.
What the
Preach.
fuck?
Preach.
Yeah. So the year before, Undertaker wins the Royal Rumble, and you've got freaking Lashley, and you got Batista, and you got Cena. All 3 world champions are there, so there's clearly an option to face ECW champion if you win the Royal Rumble. The next year, the goddamn champion's in the garden at the Rumble match. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
God!
This bread's done.
I'm sitting there watching the Rumble going, God damn it, no wonder Rob and I were doing an interview in the Hollywood Hills 2 weeks ago. This fucking brand makes my ass chap weirder than it already is.
Bad.
Oh my
It
God,
didn't
it's
need
so
to be.
bad.
It didn't need
So
to be.
bad.
You know what? Honestly,
No.
I put this in the promotion. I put all the promotions on the live chat, right? Go to the live chat when this video has the live chat available in a day or so. Send my full ECW rebooking playlist right to Rob. Seriously, tell me that wasn't better than what Vince came up with, and I'll be shocked.
No, you're 100% right. It's so. I remember you. It's just so frustrating, and like you said. But here, wait. You know, I'm actually going to be a proper host or proper
Guest
contributor here.
Yes.
I'm going to go back and look real quick. Let me see.
Go ahead.
All right. Batista. That's how fucking. I'm not sorry. Batista and Umanga was 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
The commercial figure, roughly 2 minutes, maybe 2.5.
Right.
You took away the completely unnecessary battle for brand supremacy, like anybody gave a fuck, and the commercial. There's your 10 minutes for the ECW World Title match.
Yep.
There you go.
It's not
Thanks
that.
for
Well, the
Thank
question
you.
I have is
Go
the only
ahead.
question I do have is what do you do with
It's not
Batista on
hard
the
to
show though?
book. It's just hard to finance. I've been saying it for a fucking year.
Yes, exactly. What were you saying, Owen?
The question I have is if you could scrap the brand supremacy match, what do you do with Batista on the? Because you can't have Mania without Batista.
You know what?
Sure you can.
Fuck it. Have him compete for the ECW title. If you needed to get the belt off Chavo, give it to them on the fucking go-home show of ECW for all I give a fuck. At least Kane and Batista would have been something. There you go. Done.
Yeah.
Did you need Chavo on the show,
But
or
if you-
did you have him in the Battle Royal? There's the answer to that question.
Well, here's the funny thing too, James. They actually could have just done Batista versus Chavo also, because Batista was feuding with
Oh my
La Familia.
fuck,
Why not have?
You're right. Oh my god. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah.
Again, long-term storytelling can be a thing if done right, and it's not hard to book. It's hard to finance. Yeah, it's one of those, like, okay, I said earlier, Umaga kind of was where he was on the card at that point. Batista, I only see them as having to use Batista because they had that projection that they were going to have him and John at SummerSlam. So you don't want to leave him off Mania because that just kind of deadens his momentum.
Yeah.
I get that. Fine. Okay. But yeah, Batista could have been in this match. Batista could have won the Battle Royal. And then you would have been like, ooh, he had to earn this shot at La Familia, but he still got it.
Yeah. Next, Raven Simone has an appearance, and she just talks about
That's so Raven.
the book club. Yeah, they just talks about the book club there and everything like that. I mean, this is pretty cool because I was a fan of That So Raven and stuff, so it was cool to hear her do all her catchphrases and stuff at like WrestleMania and everything like that. So that was pretty cool, I guess.
It was neat to see her, but again, it was a good little buffer. But again, I will never, ever just, especially in this country, learning to read and be better about reading. But again, at WrestleMania, you take away that dumb commercial, you put Batista in the match with Kane and take out the match with Umaga, and you take away, the filler stuff. A world title match gets 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, true. But,
So, Jeff, I'm going to let you take, because this is the whole...
Umaga would have been great, by the way. Continue. Go ahead, Owen.
So, Jeff, I'm going to let you talk about this match, the history behind it, the match itself, everything. That's the reason you were there, the career-threatening match. Ric Flair. You probably talked about this thousands of times, but you're going to talk about it again.
No. No, I signed up for it. So okay, let's do the thing.
It's the whole reason he signed up. Let's go, boys.
I really, yeah. So, like I said, I distinctly remember the night watching Raw. Flair came out. I will never retire, and Vince came out there and later. Right. Well, no. That was what Flair said. He'll never retire, and Vince came out and gave that edict down, and it kind of just made sense at the point of the year we were at. I'm like, okay, well, they're gonna prolong this. They're gonna build it to Mania, and then, so it was like, okay, let's find a way to get there, and it kept being not feasible. It was just too expensive. It was just whatever it was, and my life kind of went the direction it went, and ended up being back there. But the history of the match itself. Again, Flair, he's never going to retire, and Vince says, that's fine, as long as you keep winning. The next match you lose, your career is over. So they put Flair for the paces. He faces Orton that night. He faces Kennedy at the Rumble. He faces Hunter at one point. He faces Vince at one point on this path. And then Shawn Michaels wins his independence from JBL, I think. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was the year after. I'm sorry.
No,
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. That was a whole other story in itself.
That was after. This was after his little mini feud that he had with Randy Orton, and then I think he had another.
That's right, because. Okay, yeah, because Orton had Sean had been among the list of people that he had concussed along with Rob, and unlike Sean, Rob decided to deuces. But Sean came back and had the. You're right, thank you. So, Sean was. He got to announce that Flair was going to be the first active inductee into the Hall of Fame. And when it was decided that Flair was, when Flair was on the path of, he's going to have a match at WrestleMania, and if he loses, he retires. But he, much like Shawn's path went 2 years after this, where Shawn felt that if he couldn't beat The Undertaker, his career didn't mean anything. Flair, during the course of this promo build-up, said, if I can't, compete against the best, that's you. I don't deserve to have my career go on. And there is this wonderful promo on the Go Home show where Flair and Michaels are out there, and Flair reaches into his bag and pulls out the original 10 pounds of gold, the NWA Championship belt, and says, this is who you're dealing with, this weekend. And it was beautiful. And, Shawn, talked about, I'm going to take you behind the woodshed, old yellow, put you out of your misery. And Flair just smacked Shawn across the face like he owed him fucking money. Twice. I mean, he hit him. I don't think I've hit people I dislike that hard. Flair hit him across the face twice. And, are you kidding me? Wow.
And especially at this point, Flair loved Shawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I just like
I just like
the way it happens.
Yeah. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Again, the match itself, it's everything you want out of a match of this magnitude, right? It's the entrance, it's the pomp, it's the it's all of it.
And honestly, I don't want to speak too soon or out of turn, but I feel pretty comfortable all at the end of the day speaking for all four of us. For one reason or another, no matter who you ask, this is match of the night.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. It won the Slammy. It won, I think, it at least placed in the Observer. I'm not going to give Meltzer too much goddamn credit, but I know it won the Pro Wrestling Illustrated fan vote. So, I mean, across the board, match of the year in some cases.
And that's the After magazine, right?
Yes, the After magazine.
Bill's already gone at this point, but yes, he hasn't been with PWI for a long time, but yeah, for lack of a better term, the After mags, yeah. And again, we get Mike Adamle, who went on to be the general manager of Raw later, which
Yeah,
Concussions
were a bad thing for Mike Adamle. To be fair.
CTE is a mucker futher, and I do remember that now you say that, James, so forgive me, but even still, Mike Adamle was nowhere near American Gladiators Mike Adamle at this point.
No.
Anyway.
I felt bad I feel bad for the guy in hindsight. He did.
Well, of course. Yeah. I mean, he was handed a scenario that he just was never going to get any love for because WWE fans were like, what the fuck, really? So, do it in 1990, 91, people eat that shit up.
Yeah.
Because American Gladiators was a hot show at that time. But in 2008, not so much.
I think, by the way, TNA did the same thing with Magnus, by the way. That's where Magnus came from, wasn't it? From a Gladiators spinoff?
Yeah.
There you
go. Yeah. So, funny story about Mike Adamle. I actually, again, I am a Conrad subscriber, so I do watch, his shows. Same show, No Way Out 2008. They were talking about recently. Mike Adamle was actually okay. Let me try to remember the whole thing, Pritchard, so forgive me. Basically, WWE was getting into a situation. They were going to start broadcasting either boxing or some sort of MMA offshoot that wasn't UFC. I forget which it was. Forgive my ignorance. It doesn't matter at this point.
Right.
Mike Adamle was part of that. He was part of that production team. He was going to be commentating it. He was going to be part of that broadcast. And Vince had called down to Bruce, how's production going, pal? And Bruce, went over to 1A and it was a fucking train wreck. Everybody weren't hitting. I mean, it was the most un-Kevin Dunn-like thing in the history of the universe. It was so bad. Production was just not up to. The old man would have had a stroke, right there watching his damn self. So he told Bruce. Bruce like, these guys don't even know me. And he's like, well, they're gonna know you real soon, pal. And it's like, God damn it, Vince, really? So he goes in there and he goes, hi, my name is Bruce Pritchard, and I've been asked to come tell you that shut it down. And I mean, literally on the spot, they shut down production. Like they completely stopped everything right in the middle of everything. It wasn't a live show. They were pre-taping, but even still, it was like, oh Jesus, Mike Adamle was the lone salvation from that show, and that's why he ended up in WWE. Anyway.
Gotcha. Wow. Okay.
So that's why we got to talk about Mike Adamle because
it was
Vince
a failed
felt
attempt it was a failed attempt to stop UFC after the hype of Tito and Shamrock, basically.
It was either UFC or it was either UFC or straight boxing. I forget what it was.
I remember.
It
had to have been UFC because I remember, and I think 07. Like 07, mid 07, I think it was the Tito Ortiz and I think it was Tito Ortiz, Chuck Liddell, or Tito Ortiz, Ken Shamrock. I don't know. I think Shamrock happened in 06, so that's what makes me think it was Liddell.
Yeah. I don't think we ever got Shamrock and Ortiz full on UFC, which is why they did it in like Bellator or some stupid shit after the fact. But anyway.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because if it did happen, way past his
So
time.
Adamle asked Flair his game plan, and Flair says, my game plan, to be the man. And he walks out. Michaels comes out to that awesome Jimmy Hart written music, as only Shawn Michaels can do.
Yep.
And then Flair walks out, and we're all 74,000 of us are crying like idiots already because we know we freaking know what's going to be, right?
Bro,
so
the fireworks are golden, by the way. Nice touch, the golden fireworks.
Yes, yeah. He extends that robe, and God damn it! I mean, I purposely bought the figure that they made of this Flair outfit with the robe because I was there, but it just looks so fucking good. I'm like, this has to be on my office. It was too good not to.
You were gonna say, Casey.
I don't blame you.
You were gonna say something, Casey.
Yeah, you were talking about him extending the robe. I'm pretty sure that's just as also Sparks Zarathustra crescendos.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it was dun dun. Yeah, it was so good. Came in there and again, I'm there live, so I'm not hearing what JR saying. Tonight we celebrate Nature Boy Ric Flair. And you watch it back, you go, damn, this makes it worse.
Yeah.
It
but
really
just
does.
the moments were so, just visceral throughout the entirety of the. Let me get the time here and make sure I'm not talking out of my ass here. The entire 20 minutes of the match was just so emotional, and Hell, they talk about commentary. Flair actually did the spot off the top rope and he didn't get slammed. He actually pulled it off. It's like, oh, he did the thing. He did the thing. Which is so funny because Shawn went for it and got slammed, and then Flair went up and Shawn tried to and they kicked him off, and then he actually did the diving thing. And like, hey, he pulled it off. What do you know?
Yeah, this last match at that point. Yeah, I also have to. Point, I have to point this out also, Jeff. Early in the match, they do the old Yeller spot again in the match, and Shawn Michaels returns the slap that he gave him. And holy shit, did he?
He hit Flair so hard, he gave him a fat lip. Yeah, I was like,
yeah, you want it? Shawn Michaels then replied, you wanted him, you got him. Referring to Mr. WrestleMania, and then Flair replies, first blood, brother. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. And again, I'm in the opposite corner from the entryway, not hearing this up there where I am. But you watch your back now, you're like, God damn. And
that's one of those moments that makes you go, okay, now we're at Mania. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I didn't hear the dialogue. I sure as I heard that slap from up where I was. It was like, God damn, Shawn. All right, we're going now. Again, in the moment you don't see the words before the super kick, and then they show the replay on the screen, and you see him. I'm sorry, and fuck, I'm getting emotional now. Damn.
I mean,
it was so.
You mentioned it being visceral at the outset of your description. That's a really good word to describe this entire match.
It really. I mean, it's 20 minutes of the worst kept secret in wrestling. You know what's going to happen, and you get in it anyway. You get all in your feels. You get caught up in the moment because it's like, maybe not. And then when Shawn went to that corner and you see him and he stops lifting and it's like, oh shit, this is it. And Flair gets up and he does the thing. And you don't see what Shawn says from where I am. He lays that kick on him. You can hear it on Peacock. You hear the crowd, and then he pins him, and the crowd just like, oh, thank God. And then we just start clapping and crying like fucking idiots. But like I said, they show the replay. They show that, I'm sorry, I love you. And it's like, oh God, really? No. My dad, hand to God, if I'm lying, may lightning hit through this roof. My dad's not an emotional guy when it comes to wrestling or even Taker. He's not like a blubbery boo-hoo guy about wrestling. He was crying after the match.
Yeah.
And it was to this day, it's my favorite wrestling memory that doesn't directly involve me, if that makes any sense.
I get it.
I get it,
because it was my dad and I there, and I was actually, the reason I was looking off camera earlier, I was doing the math. 74,635 people as far as paid attendance. So figure in the building that day, or in the stadium, we'll be generous and call it 76,000 people there total. Maybe even round up to 80,000 people in the stadium that day.
Not a dry eye in the goddamn.
Well, no, not even that. We were part of. Let me just see here.
We're waiting.
We were, in the entirety of the world, we were just over 1/1000% of the people on that planet, and we were part of Ric Flair's last match.
Yeah,
that's insane.
It's like, granted, he had a match with Conrad. He did the thing and matches in TNA, and that's fine. But the last match that we all thought was going to be official back in 2008, little over 1/1000th of the people living in that moment were part of that, and to be part of that small number of people in this entire world that got to watch Ric Flair's final fall is still to this day just fucking emotional for me.
I can totally see that.
You know what's funny too, but before we even continue this, and it just occurred to me, this is in the same state where he thought his career was over 7 years prior. keep that in mind too, because the final episode of Nitro took place next door to Panama City Beach. So like that's
Yep.
and he wasn't even at his
You
best.
think
then,
about
you
think about how long that day was for him. But it's funny when you talk to him. Even then, you talk to him now. He was so happy that company was done because of all the bullshit. Yes, he was sad for his friends that weren't going to get to go on. Yes, he was sad for his friends that didn't have that big fat AOL Time Warner check that they weren't going to get paid unless they signed for pennies on the dollar, whatever. But, he's out there with Sting, Steve Borden, one of his dearest friends in the business, and they're not having their Clash 88 match by any goddamn means. And like you said, less than 7 years later, he's same state, just a little bit up the road, and he's got 75,000 people plus. I'm sure everybody in the back. I'm sure they had a curtain standing O too, but everybody there is there for him, and it was. And again, fuck, dude, to be part of that, just a small part of that, is still top 3 as a fan for me.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And honestly, right now, number 2 is
Probably what live?
number 2 is probably interviewing Rob.
Yeah, probably.
Number 2 is probably interviewing Rob. Number 1 is meeting Hogan.
Yeah, that's
And
For sure.
and I mean, Hulk's my guy, but I'll tell you what, 3A and 3B are going to have a battle when I meet Undertaker. I'm plus going to Mania. But as far as a live show moment, favorite memory.
There you go. Oh, and go on.
Just an insane match. The perfect way for Ric Flair to go out. And
Aiming
the
for a
perfect
goddamn
match.
tissue.
The only thing that sucked about this match, obviously, we mentioned Flair's been back, but that the match was put in the middle of the card. This should have been the main event of Mania. Like,
No, well,
Should have
okay.
Because the rest of the card wasn't bad.
I have gone back and forth.
Minus
Well,
maybe not the main, but it should have gone at least second to last because the next 2 matches, while they're good, the crowd's not as into them because they just saw Ric Flair retire.
So, I've gone back and forth on this a lot in the last. Holy shit, 15 years. That just hit me right now. Yeah, well, yeah, because Dylan's turning 15. That makes it. God, wow. Okay, I need to process that later. Shit. Anyway, yes, the Playboy match next, which I'm sure you guys will discuss briefly because it was brief. And the lights were what they were on that match. God bless the folks in tech. That match kind of was what it was, but you figure the final 3 matches are the world title matches and the money match. So, yes, it definitely was the longest. I'm sorry, it wasn't the longest match after that because the main event went long. But I will concede that maybe the reason they put the ladies in, the ladies have always. Not always. Generally been a buffer between the moment and then the rest of the moments. Think about it this way. You had the Women's Championship match at 21, which, with all due respect to my girl Trish and my buddy Christy Hemme, then you had Shawn and Kurt, which, god damn, put that on every night of the week, please. I beg of you, Vince.
Yeah, that was a barn burner and a half.
And then everything after that, the sumo match and the 2 world title matches were just kind of like, okay. The difference is, yes, it was 5 minutes, plus entrances, plus shenanigans and everything with the Playboy match. But it allowed us all to take a breath. Because we hadn't taken a breath for the previous half hour.
That's fair. That's fair. That actually kind of changed.
Really.
And the crowd was very into the main event and the WWE title match also. Let's not forget also. So
I will tell you right now, we were into everything. The only reason the Playboy Bunny match went south as it did was because of the light bullshit. That's the only reason we were like, oh, really? So, because you figure, Beth and Melina, I always loved Beth and Melina. Santino, whatever. But love him now. Respect the hell out of the guy now. But, whatever. Maria and Ashley, they're all very nice to look at. But Beth and Melina were both tremendous wrestlers. Maria has since evolved into something so much more than she was. And Ashley became a buddy later doing independent work with her. So it's kind of like, I have mixed feelings on this match, but 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was much more about Snoop and his Pope Mobile, coming in.
With
and
so many women, all the women. It was tricked out as only Snoop can do. And I will say,
it ain't easy, but I'm sure it's a lot of fun, Snoop.
Yeah.
Oh my God, where was Charles Wright when you needed him?
No, he put, dude. And Jeff will appreciate this. He put Charles Wright to fucking shame here, bro. He came out with all the honeys. And he didn't need to pay a damn dime. He didn't need to pimp them out or anything. He just looked like a pimp by proxy.
Snoop Dogg never had a problem giving me the time of day for even a conversation. Unlike that fucker Charles Wright, kayfabe and mucker father. Anyway, I said what I said, and I mean it. Hey, you know what? I lived right around the corner from one of Snoop's favorite places in Long Beach Clothing Company. So Snoop and I, we're good.
There you go.
Godfather. Put some voodoo on that guy. Anyway.
Oh no. He'll go back to Papa Shango. There you go.
That's okay.
But anyway,
I'm sure you're going to recap the match. There's not much to recap of the
Oh
match.
no, we're not
freaking Mobile.
I agree with you. I'm
recapping
it as quick as possible. This is basically it, right?
While you do that, I'm glad to milk.
I don't blame you. So Snoopy Doggity Dog. Keep the camera on, by the way, for my graphics. Thank you. Snoop Doggity Dog. He says, "Can I get a woo for my main man Ric Flair?" And everybody did it. That was cool. Nice shout there by Snoop Dogg.
Yes.
I will say, as the match goes on, I wasn't even paying attention to that. I was paying attention more to Santino being Santino and Snoop being Snoop, because Snoop was just like,
Yes.
Yeah, he was on a whole nother level, yeah.
Yeah, Snoop was in his element, looking at Maria at that point, because Maria was teasing
that chair, by the way,
shit out of him. By the way, I mean, let's just call a spade right now. She knew what she had, and she knew she was getting some, at least in that segment.
Yep.
So there you go.
That chair that Snoop was sitting in doing the match too. What a chair that was!
Yeah,
that was like
throne.
Jerry Lawler said on commentary that was better than the chairs they sit in. He's not wrong. Like that was a chair right there. Like
Jerry the King Lawler doesn't get a fucking throne to sit at commentary, yet Snoop Dogg gets a whole freaking golden throne, man. What the hell? Although it does kind of feel right, to be fair. It is Snoop Dogg. But eventually the match ends because Santino interferes, blah, blah, blah. And then they have a post-match angle after the lights had a fiasco. And Snoop Dogg kisses Maria live on television after clotheslining the shit out of Santino. And I mean, he stiff-armed him. Stan Hansen style, just bang. Fucking bang.
Yeah.
Santino sold out like a fucking champ, though. You gotta love it.
And Snoop Dogg kissed Maria, and Maria was like, yeah, I did that.
yeah.
There you go.
I do have to ask Jeff, what was it like watching this match in the arena since when the power went out and everything like that? Like, what was it?
It was very deflating. And again, I'm always been a champion of the women's divisions in wrestling companies, but it was we still weren't there yet, right?
Yeah,
it was one of those like, okay, we're here, it's a filler. And like I said, it gave us all emotional old fucks to, okay, we're good, because the Flair thing was just so much. It was so much. So I was grateful for it, even though it was a shit show. It was what it was.
Yeah, I gave the match I gave Flair the career threatening match 4 3/4 stars, maybe 5 stars, and then I gave the Playboy Buddy Mania Lumberjill match like a star and a half. They were not set up for success because of what happened, and not necessarily
the half is for Snoopy. The half is for Snoopy Boy there.
Yes, it is. And and for Santino, because I thought Santino was fairly entertaining.
Like I said, Santino was the star of this match, for real.
Yeah.
So
Santino,
good on him, man.
Santino took that clothesline like a champ, bro. Fucking hell.
Santino was a star all weekend, man. The Rock totally punked him for his haircut the previous night at the Hall of Fame, and then he's out there getting clotheslined by Snoop Dogg. You gotta love the dedication, man.
I
know.
agree, man.
Let's jump ahead a little bit though, because we missed one thing. Edge got interviewed right after the Ric Flair career-threatening match.
Oh my God, what a great promo. Why didn't they air this on Raw? But still, great promo nonetheless. So good.
Yeah, so Edge talks about...
I was in the audience for WrestleMania 6, Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior. Everyone in my section besides me was dressed in neon colors. I went all in with the yellow bandana and the tank top, and you know what happened?
Hulk Hogan lost.
I loved it.
It was like, damn, Edge.
And then he's
This
like,
promo must have been
I am
tough
here to crush that kid's spirit. I am here to make history at that kid's expense. I'm like, oh my God. Dude, I hated him as a kid,
so
man.
good.
And it's shit like this that made me hate him.
Right.
I look back at this shit now and I'm like, oh, so good heel. Such a good heel,
Such a
dude.
genius. Such a genius.
Okay, so you must have...
Adam Copeland is so slept on as a heel. He's so good.
Especially
Okay, so
nowadays.
You haven't seen this... You haven't seen this match in like years. This promo must have really left an impact on you since,
Yeah. It's been a minute since I've seen that, but that delivery will stick with me for a long time.
It's one of the top Edge promos that I don't think people realize of all time. Honestly, it's up there, man.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got some banger promos.
So good.
My favorite one
before we get there,
for always be, just since we're talking about Edge, I love Edge wins! Edge wins! Edge wins! That will forever be my favorite because he's just mocking JR as a heel. Like, I look back on that shit now and it's so fucking funny. But yeah.
My favorite one, I know, like I said, serious one is when he has the cutting edge with Cena after WrestleMania 25 on SmackDown, when he talks about his hatred for like John Cena. Like, that's my favorite Edge promo. Like, that's a really good promo.
Yeah, really good shit. Yeah, good on Edge.
I mean, obviously, I think another one was when he challenged Randy Orton to the Last Man Standing match, I guess. But I don't think I would like it now because it was in the empty arena era. So,
primo choice, Birdman.
Yes.
Cutting Edge post 25. God damn.
yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But yeah, before
you say primo as in cologne?
No, primo.
I get it. I know.
But yeah, before we get there, we got to talk about the WWE Championship match. It's a triple threat match. It's Randy Orton defending the WWE Championship against Triple H, John Cena. The reason we're here is because everybody had an issue with each other. So Triple H missed WrestleMania 23 because he tore his quad again. For like a year.
In fact, he fucked up and tore his quad again. Anyway, moving right along.
That's how I roll.
What is it with people? What is it with the click and tearing things?
I love Owen. Seriously,
You know what? Stop that! Stop that tangent right now, because I know where it's going. Move on, Owen, please. I don't need to hear about X-Pac's bleeding ass anymore this week. I am good. Thank you. Okay.
I will say,
carry on.
this isn't related to the X-Pac thing. Don't worry. But Owen, man, this is why you're one of the funniest fucking people I know, because, dude, the way you just fucking nonchalantly just bury people softly, brother, is so good. It's so good. Fucking, he tore his quad again. Anyway,
you know, that's it. Yeah,
Walk right past that.
Anyway, continue. Owen.
yeah,
That's
I
all.
can't walk in past it. He can't walk in his tore his quad.
Hey, at least he's not Vince where he tore both.
Okay, then let me rephrase that. We're gonna hobble past this.
Hey, you know what? Hey, I will give the old man his flowers. This fucker walked to the back after tearing both quads. Guy's a cyborg. Seriously.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fuck it.
Vince
real.
McMahon. Yeah, he did wobble back though.
But yeah,
Can't
Triple
show
H-
it.
Vince for the Hutzpah. God. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
But yeah, Triple H missed WrestleMania 23. So in the meantime, John Cena and Randy Orton were carrying the torch. John Cena was the WWE champion for almost the whole year in 2007 until he tore his pec in a match with Ken Anderson / Mr. Kennedy / Ken Kennedy. And Randy Orton attacked him after that match, and they used that to write Cena off for a bit. Randy Orton won the WWE Championship at No Mercy, and they did that famous thing where the WWE Championship changed hands 3 times, where Triple H won it, then Orton won it in the Last Man Standing match. And Randy Orton held on to that championship, put away every challenge that came his way, and then, as Casey and I talked about in Royal Rumble 08, which I think James has put in the comments, so you can watch that video. John Cena made his return what was it, like 3 months early, maybe 6 months early from his torn pec.
It was early.
The greatest, I'll go on record to say, Royal Rumble surprise of all time. Nothing tops this. No way.
Yeah.
Because you gotta imagine, nobody expected him to be back that quick, and they kept that shit tight locked. Dude, not even the fucking Observer, but which were, especially Figure 4, were on their game at that time. Not even the Observer caught fucking wind of that. Nobody had a clue. And when Cena showed up,
I still pop to this day over that shit.
And he did this, and then he went, dude, all-time moment, all-timer WWE Rumble moment for sure.
I will go on record as saying I have spent like the past more than half my life as the biggest John Cena mark this side of the Mississippi River. Shit like that is why.
Yep. I felt bad for you, Casey, because you were like the only adult probably of your wrestling group that probably liked John Cena too, because he was very the
thing is, until I met James, I didn't even have a wrestling group.
So there you go.
Yeah, so he was a loner. So there you go.
But continuing, John Cena and Triple H were the last two in that Rumble match, and Triple H had to work his ass off just to get into that Rumble match, and Cena took it away from him. And John Cena didn't want to wait till WrestleMania, as Jeff said earlier. He wanted to have his championship match. Well, he wanted to have it the next night, but he had to negotiate with Randy Orton a little bit, and he got it for No Way Out 2008. However, Randy Orton got himself disqualified in that match, so Cena looked like he was going to be out of Mania, and Triple H won the Elimination Chamber match to become the number one contender, and it looked like it was just going to be Randy Orton versus Triple H. However, John Cena beat Randy Orton the next night on Raw to earn his way back into the match, and it was a triple threat match.
I remember the podium segment that Regal led. It's a very underrated Raw segment from that era. Very underrated.
They did it.
It felt like so official, super serious. The three of the biggest stars of that era, Triple H, John Cena, Orton, with Regal at the helm, general manager, leading the charge, not even being a heel, just being a diplomat during that whole thing, being the mediator, almost like he's hosting a debate. I still remember that segment to this day.
Full on heel William Regal, I don't think would come for another year or so.
It happened around this time. It did happen around this time, but it happened, I think, he was pretty much heel even around this time, but...
He was general manager and King of the Ring at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
King of the Ring didn't happen until later, though. King of the Ring didn't happen until...
I was going to say.
2 months after Mania.
Like a month.
Yeah. Something like that.
But... the best way to explain William Regal's Raw GM run is he was a heel, but he also had that element of the NXT GM where he would be just an authority figure.
So he was more of a moderate heel.
Yeah. He it's such a slept-on GM run for Regal because everybody always talks about his commissioner run in the Attitude Era and his NXT run in the modern era, but this is a very era for him.
I apologize. He was Intercontinental Champion, not King of the Ring prior to WrestleMania. I apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
But King of the Ring was only a month after. It was April 21st when he was crowned. So
there you go. It all happened.
But yeah, so all these three guys were left to the races. There's that famous promo where Randy Orton, I forget when he cuts it, when he mentions that you can take the desire of John Cena and like the strength of Triple H and you get Randy Orton. It was something to that effect, which is like a really good line by Randy Orton. Randy Orton was like, up until like 2020, maybe like 2019, he was like on his game as a heel at this time.
Yeah, and it started right after the loss at Backlash, and he just started going further and further down a psychological wormhole that would eventually become into the Viper we know today. And this is like in between Legend Killer and Viper. Like this is right at that era. And he's WWE champion going into this.
And they did the bit where like all the guys were the GM or like got to run the show at one point. And basically everybody put each other in hard matches before the show and everything like that. The biggest one I remember was when Triple H had John Cena and Randy Orton team up to face like the entire Raw roster on that episode of Raw. That's the biggest one I remember.
Yeah, that was a really iconic segment too, because Cena and Orton, if they actually did team, boy, was their chemistry insanely instant, bro. Dude,
really
they
good.
would have been unstoppable if we were to take kayfabe at face value, and this was the '80s, and Cena and Orton with everything that they know then. Dude, they would have been tag team champions for like 2 decades. Seriously.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
They would put Roman Reigns' WWE Universal Championship ring to fucking shame.
Yeah,
Like, that's how.
For real. Anyway.
But yeah, going through the match, John Cena got a grand entrance. He had a marching band basically performing his theme song, which was really cool.
That was pretty cool.
That was cool as shit. And I think he came out wearing his old college jersey.
He did, yeah.
Not college number.
He came out wearing it was college number. He came out wearing a facsimile of a college jersey, but it was his actual number in college. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like an
Triple H actually
iconic Cena look for me. By the way, I love that look. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Triple H actually didn't get a WrestleMania grand entrance at WrestleMania 24, which was really weird.
That belonged to Cena that year, that's why. And even then, that was kind of ruined because the fucking lights were still not fixed, so Cena had to, like, walk down the ramp so he could safely run the rest of the way so the spotlight could follow him.
Yeah.
Which was kind of funny.
But going through the match...
But the actual aesthetic, real quick, the aesthetic with the lights off, and you have the spotlight on Cena and the crowd, all the flash bulbs, man, going off in that arena. I don't know how it looked like live, Jeff, but that was cool, man. That was really, the ambiance really showed
really
in darkness
good shit
there. It was cool.
But going through the match,
cool.
Triple H and John Cena are jacking off with each other.
What?
You might want to reword that.
You pulled the JR there, the attitude there. Jerking edge off the ladder.
They're arguing.
Anything you're trying to say?
I think that's...
John Jacket is what you meant, I think.
John Cena and Triple H are arguing with each other. That's what I probably should have said.
There you go.
I don't think Jeff's gonna come back to the show now after that. Done.
Oh my god. That's definitely gonna be a YouTube. I'm definitely making this into a YouTube short. Holy shit.
Funny thing is, the one show that Jeff Meacham is on, there's the only sexual emphasis I make the entire
and it was
podcast
by complete accident.
Sexual magnetism I bring out, everybody. What can I say? I'm just that sexier beast, baby. What can I tell you?
More like, hey, listen, man. You're a sexy beast. I'm sweaty beast. There you go.
Sweaty balls. There you go. Well, we'll go with it. That's
funny thing is, I didn't even realize what I did until Jeff Meacham gave me that look. That's when I realized.
Bro, we all in unison. All of us went, huh? You want to reword that? Anyway. So they were arguing with each other. Continue from that point.
And Randy Orton uses this opportunity to blast Triple H off the head with the WWE Championship belt.
Repeat of WrestleMania 22, by the way.
Yes, it was. Orton and Cena get into a brawl. Cena dominates Orton throughout most of it. I didn't like this part. Triple H is like back to his feet like 2 minutes later. Like he was just hit with a championship belt, and he's back to his feet like 2 minutes later. Like, what are you doing?
It's also a Triple H.
But yeah, but Hulk Hogan would have done. Hulk Hogan would have done that.
To be fair,
Triple H and Randy Orton go off on each other. Triple H throws Orton into the steps. He throws Cena's into the step at one point. He bounces Cena's head off the announce table. He beats the crap out of Randy Orton while he's around the announce table. And eventually Cena and Triple H go at it for a little bit. And Randy Orton actually takes control of the match eventually. Like, he's dominating for like 10 minutes at one point. He does the Orton stomps. He does the double draping DDT, not just on Cena, but also on Triple H. He has Cena set up for it, and Triple H tries to come up there and like prevent him from doing it. And Randy Orton actually like counters that counter and does the draping DDT himself. Like, it was really good.
Yeah, it's very clean.
This is significant because I think it's the last time Randy Orton's hit this. Triple H has John Cena up on an electric chair, and Randy Orton hits a high crossbody on Cena, and Triple H hits the electric chair on Cena. Like, it's the last time I think Randy Orton has pulled out the crossbody ever in his career. I don't think he's done it since.
No, he has done it. I remember he did it against Bobby Roode at one point, but and then I think before that it was Rollins. I want to say 31.
Would he be able to do it to Rollins? I don't even know if he would have been. Isn't he taller than Rollins though? I don't think he could do it to Seth Rollins.
No, the crossbody. Yeah, he could have. Are you kidding me?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Either way,
I'm doubting it.
I swear he did it against him, but I know he did it to Bobby. I know that was the thing.
But yeah, so eventually John Cena starts to mount a comeback. He chases after Randy Orton at one point, and you're thinking they're making Randy Orton look weak here, but this actually was smart. Randy Orton, while he's like running, like basically uses Cena momentum and throws him into the post. That was a really good spot right there. That was like one of my favorite spots of the whole match.
Yes.
Then Triple H dominates Randy Orton. He locks a crossface onto him, which is kind of interesting because of that Jeff Meacham story I know about now, that Triple H did a freaking crossface in the match. And Cena breaks it up. Triple H works over the leg also of Randy Orton, and Cena locks Orton into the STF. And because Orton had his leg worked on, you actually thought he was going to tap out here. And Triple H pulls Randy Orton to the ropes and hits a right hand on Cena, then throws him into the steps. Then he locks a crossface onto Randy Orton again, and Randy Orton's able to get out of it. Cena locks in the STF, and there's this really good spot where like Triple H has to like pull Cena off of Orton here, which was awesome. Like, he has to like break Cena off, like really hold him back. The only reason that Cena relents is because Triple H locks a crossface in on Cena. It was like really good stuff here.
Yeah, like he was using the crossface at this point. Like, please forget about Benoit. Please forget about Benoit. Please.
I'll be synonymous with this now. You'll think of me every time a crossface is done, which
You'll
never
think
happened.
of me every time I do the crossface.
Think of me when. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Anyway, go ahead.
Then eventually, Cena and Triple H are going at it. Triple H hits a double-A spine buster on Cena, and Randy Orton's completely out of the match at this point. He's like taking a nap on the outside. Cena goes for the AA. Triple H counters into the pedigree, and he goes for the cover, and Randy Orton hits the punt on Triple H and pins Cena to get the win. This was good stuff here. I like this triple threat match. It was a good triple threat match here. I think the thing I liked about it the best, I talked about this with Noah James, as you heard in WrestleMania 25 Retro, is they actually had all three guys actually interact with each other. It wasn't just one at a time type of thing, triple threat matches. Yeah. And the time that it happened, it actually made sense when it did happen with the whole Randy Orton thing. I gave the match 3 stars. Before I have you guys talk about it, the reason I gave it 3 stars, I'm going to be honest, I have a little bit of a PTSD with this match because as Casey and James know, you play this match in 2K14, and of course I'm an idiot and play this match on Legend mode. And this match is fucking impossible to do on Legend mode. You have to hit the guy these objectives you have to do. You have to hit Triple H with the title, and he reverses it every time. And when you get it one of the times, you'll go through the whole match, and then you'll lose the match and not do one of the objectives. So you have to hit him with the title again, and then he keeps reversing it. But that's not even the hard part. I remember I was squinting doing the DDT spot because I always fucked up the DDT spot because somebody would always counter the DDT. It was so annoying.
There you go.
So yeah, that's why this match is 3 stars. I know Jeff just said you can't use past experiences and stuff, but this match just gave me such a struggle in 2K14 that I have such a bad memory of this match.
That's fair. That's fair.
I am not a triple threat guy. Everybody watching me knows that. I actually enjoyed this one, and again, you had to figure some way out of the angle because Cena's not going to cash in early just cause, right?
Right.
You know, there's got to be some more to it than that. And Hunter wins the chamber. It's like, okay, now what? So for what they had to work with and what they decided to do, I enjoyed it.
There you go.
I agree.
Casey, anything you want to say about it?
Honestly, again, me being a mark, we should have been Cena coming out, but
Go Power Rangers. Sorry.
but for what it was, this was indeed a really good triple threat. A lot of good, solid work. Everybody had their boots on, and a lot of really creative yet sensible spots, especially towards the end. You
Do you have any PDS? Do you have any PTSD from this match, or am I just an idiot and decided to do Legend Mode on Tuesday?
I was there. I do.
You're just an idiot. I played it on easy.
What about you, James? What do you think of this match? And am I just an idiot, or did you have any PTSD from having to play this match in 2K14? Or am I just bad at the game? That could be a good thing. That could be another question.
I mean, you're probably. Yeah, I think it's the latter, brother. For me, don't have PTSD because I.
You think I suck at the game?
I don't listen. Legend mode is not easy. To be fair, I suck at it too. I do have to say though, I give this 4 stars. Really enjoyed this triple threat. I thought it really was a nice comeback up from the little buffer we had afterwards. Really good stuff. I enjoyed it. It was fun. They got the lights back working, so the extra quarter stars for the lights working again. Otherwise, it would be 3 3/4. I gave it 4. So there you go.
And now you have now you guys have that image of John Cena Triple H jacking off now too. So.
Fucking what a circle jerk that is! Jesus
Christ! It's gonna be a long conversation next time I see both those guys. God help me.
Why were you on a podcast
next we had the
where a guy named Owen Finch said I was jacking off Hunter in the main event of Mania?
Good thing Mike wasn't.
This will be
Good
one.
thing Mike wasn't on. Mike would not have let me live that down.
Funnily enough, Mike and Nikos are actually doing. Well, funnily enough, Mike and Nikos are actually doing a thing now in another channel as we speak.
That's fucking hilarious.
But yeah, Jeff, this will be one. This will be one to not tell the kid.
Yeah, don't tell the kid.
Tell the kid. Tell John. Tell any. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's okay.
Next was a no.
Fuck it, whatever. It's funny. It's sad.
There you go.
Next is a no disqualification match. It was Big Show versus Floyd Money Mayweather. The reason for this match, originally they wanted to get Ala Del Hoya, I believe is how you say that name.
Oh yeah, that's okay.
But he didn't want to do the wrestling stuff. He wasn't interested.
De La Hoya? De La Hoya? Ala Del Hoya?
As in Oscar De La Hoya?
Oscar De La Hoya, yeah. Oscar De La Hoya.
I was gonna say, as an LA boy, please say his name right. Yeah, Oscar De La Hoya, one of the greatest of all time.
Oh yeah, I love that boxer, Aldo Montoya or whatever his name is.
But
somewhere PJ's going, what the fuck are you talking about that guy for again? Anyway,
but yeah, they wanted to get him for this Mania, and he didn't want to do it.
I knew that would pop, Jeff. I had to get that in there somehow.
But yeah, he didn't want to do the match. So it was originally going to be a tag match with I believe it was going to be Rey Mysterio and Floyd Mayweather versus Big Show and Shane McMahon. But then Rey Mysterio got a bicep tear. So they just went
Irish whip of all things.
Yeah.
So wait, you're saying Rey Mysterio was hurt? The hell you say?
But
poor Rey.
It ended up being
it wasn't his knee this time.
No, that's
this makes my Rey Mysterio mask.
I'm dropping equipment now.
This makes my Rey Mysterio mask stuffed with shirts very, very sad and depressed.
Yes.
Yes.
It wasn't his knee too, because he didn't have surgery 5 times in his left knee. If you know what that reference is from.
I had surgery 5 times in my left knee. There you go.
I'm just dropping everything now for me. See, no good deed goes unpunished, and don't criticize Rey Mysterio on the air because clearly everything starts falling off your desk.
Yeah, that just started happening
Anyway.
to me. Give me a second. Continue, Owen. Sorry, just don't mind us.
Bitch.
But so it said they did Floyd Mayweather versus The Big Show. The biggest thing was Floyd Mayweather was undefeated in boxing at this time. I believe they said he was like 49-0, and The Big Show was the
Still
world's
is,
largest
by the way.
athlete. And how is he gonna? And how is he ever gonna be a large athlete like that? So they did weigh-ins. Originally, Big Show was the heel, and Floyd Mayweather was the babyface. But something magical happened on this show, which we'll talk about.
Boy,
in a second.
does it ever.
But yeah, this build-up was actually like really good. I think a lot of people didn't want to see this match because of the celebrity thing, but if you watch the build-up, it is pretty good. The video package is actually edited off the Peacock / the network for some reason, because I don't know why it is. I don't know if you guys remember hearing that report. WrestleMania 24 was taken off the network last year, I believe, because they used music that they didn't approve of. So they took it off the network.
Oh yeah.
So I think
what?
Yeah, it was weird.
I remember how you say that. Yeah. Okay.
I'm pretty sure everyone connected it because Snoop Dogg showed up in AEW like shortly before that, but it had like nothing to do with that. Everyone just kind of like, over predicted that and all that type of stuff. But going through the match, this is the magic. James, why don't you talk about this match?
So I'll be happy to break this down because I actually really had a lot of fun with this. So Big Show comes out, and the crowd, right? They are just kind of silent, but then when he does the choke slam, they make a little bit of noise, right? And you're thinking, oh man, this is gonna be a dead match. And then Floyd's music hits, and
By the way, what wrestler is with Floyd? By the way,
what wrestler is with Floyd? There's a wrestler with Floyd.
Michael Tarver.
Oh my God, that's right.
That's right.
Oh my God, that's
Michael
right.
Tarver.
Yeah, that makes sense now that you fucking bring that up. Okay, but fair enough. Right.
He walks alone, just not that night. Anyway, okay.
Floyd comes out, and all you hear in that arena at the Citrus Bowl is boo! It was so loud, the boos, bro. I swear we jumped forward in time, and Floyd Mayweather was somehow Roman Reigns the night after he beat Undertaker. It was so loud, dude. It was so loud.
Yeah.
It picked up huge on the mic. Like, dude, you couldn't pay Kevin Dunn enough to frickin' turn that volume down. They were gonna let you hear the displeasure. They booed this motherfucker out the building. Jeff, you gotta take me into this trip, because like, what was it like in the arena for this?
So you have to remember something. Floyd, yes, biggest name in the boxing world without a doubt, but a cocky little fuck at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Now I have a little more bias, and I say that because we actually went to the press conference they had for WrestleMania 24 that was at the outer foyer of Staples Center at the time.
Yeah.
So we're down there. And remember, Dylan's mom is pregnant. Like, she's ready to pop pregnant at this point. And it's March in LA, so it's warm. And they wouldn't let us sit up front, even though she's in a wheelchair. So that already chapped our ass. Because they were trying to make us pay extra. And it turned out, even though the free press conference, we had to pay extra. It turned out it's because of Mayweather. And because he's fucking Floyd Mayweather. So it's like, all right, so you're already an asshole. Cool.
Oh, wow.
Then they
played
they played the Chili Pepper song over again. They didn't like loop all the theme songs. They just kept playing Snow Hey-O for like 25 minutes, just on loop, waiting for his dumb ass to show up late because he's Floyd Mayweather and he showed up late. So I was like if I could have booed any louder, I would have been down on the floor screaming in his stupid face about
That's
it.
why. Okay.
God, like, fuck me.
Wow. All right. No idea
Yeah.
why they booed him.
I
Until you brought that
I
up.
will. And again, that was just in LA, me personally. The overall direction of Floyd, you have to remember something, guys. He went into a WWE show, he was sitting in the crowd and hopped the rail. Yes, Big Show was acting an ass and, beating up on Rey Mysterio. And, you beat up on Rey Mysterio, you automatically get the sense that, you automatically get the heel thing. But Big Show was down on a knee and Floyd took sucker shots and then ran like a bitch.
Yes, he did.
So, yeah, he's going to be the heel because he ran like a bitch. I will also say, for the record, I didn't pay for the trip to WrestleMania, but I'll say the Meacham Family Fund has now only paid ever twice for a Mayweather fight. This one, and we actually paid to go to a Buffalo Wild Wings to watch him and McGregor.
Oh,
That's fair.
And at that point, I'm rooting for Conor. At that point, I'm rooting for Floyd because I hate Conor McGregor even more. Like, he bugs the fuck out of me with his anti-wrestling bullshit. So, yeah, first time I saw Floyd fight, go Big Show. And he loses because, fuck me. The other time I paid to see Floyd, he wins. So,
there you go. I gotta also say too, while all that is said and noted, I had no idea that freaking happened. But yeah, a lot of people didn't like Floyd.
Oh, yeah.
I think it showed. It really would have. I wonder if
Yes,
Ray never
yes.
got that pectoral tear, if they would have changed the direction and made it Shane McMahon and Floyd Mayweather Team Money fighting Big Show and freaking
no.
Mysterio.
No, because the whole gimmick was Shane and the Big Show and their long association, and Mayweather coming in as the outsider teaming with the sympathetic Rey Mysterio. Never would have been Shane and Mayweather. That never would have been a thing. Yeah, I know, never say never in wrestling because Vince retired and then didn't, but I'm saying never on that.
Fair enough. Well,
Yeah, James, continue. Take us through this match.
He comes out. He's getting booed out of the building. He's doing his entrance. He looks like a freaking prick, by the way. He dresses like one too, but he's getting so booed.
Oh, yeah.
And he loves that shit, by the way. I will say, at least he
He does.
fucking
He
soaks
does.
it in.
Yeah.
He soaks it in like
Say
you
what you
believe.
will. Say what you will about Floyd Money Mayweather. Big Show put him over huge on the Stone Cold podcast. He
He did. Yeah, he did.
Understands the art of promotion. Understands the art of heel baby face. Nowhere was that more proven than on this night.
Dude, he knew he was the heel.
Yep.
It didn't matter what the fuck they booked prior to that. They knew. And even if Vince wanted to say, you stick with the script, damn it, Floyd's going to say, dude, fuck you. I'm Floyd Mayweather. You ain't going to tell me what to fucking do. You're paying me for my services. Let me do my thing. And you let Big Show do his thing and we're good. Right? So he comes out. And Big Show's there, right? And he's just fucking loving it, right? They have this fight, and then Mayweather's trying to get some jabs on him. He's almost trying to get some sort of takedown also, Big Show ain't letting it happen at all. And then Big Show gets his paws on him, and then he scurries away, and then he realizes, oh, I'm in deep shit. One of his trainers, quote-unquote, probably an indie guy, got knocked out by Big Show. And he's like, that's going to be you, Floyd. That's going to be you. And he got his hands on him, and credit to fucking Floyd, man. He bumps for this big fucker. He bumps like nobody's business. Takes that freaking frying pan chop. Takes a freaking power slam at one point. Right? Just all the hits of Big Show, just all in one match. The crowd is going nuts for it. They are now firmly behind Big Show. Like, I've never heard a crowd this behind Big Show ever in his entire career. This might be the only time I can recall.
And that's saying something. Because the crowd is never behind
And the
Big
crowd
Show.
is so fucking hyped for him just destroying Mayweather. And he's supposed to be the heel, but he's reading the crowd too, and he knows he's in the ring with Floyd, right? So he'll go to bat for him. And he goes, one more time! One more time! And the crowd's like, yeah! Yeah!
Yes, Paul, destroy him.
Destroy him.
White.
just
I
absolutely
must break you.
just destroys him. The one of the guys, credit to the guy whoever played his entourage, by the way, his manager. Hey,
Right.
we didn't sign up for this. You can't do that, man. We didn't sign up for this shit. And they're going to the back. It's like, you okay? You okay? And then Big Show just starts pummeling these guys, right? I think the freaking manager freaking just full on takes a brutal body slam on the floor. He's dragging him. He's dragging Floyd back into the ring. Just keeps beating him up, slamming him down on the mat. The crowd is loving this. And then Floyd starts turning it around. And he's using weapons like a dick. And his entourage is helping him. You know, it's no DQ. Why they made it no DQ, no idea.
Yep.
I guess to give Floyd a handicap. And they just
Right?
beat him up and beat him up. At one point, I think the Big Show stomped on his hand, too. But once Floyd had the brass knucks, it protected his hand enough to be able to hit the knockout blow. And that was it. He got a knockout, a KO victory on the Big Show because they implemented boxing rules into this. So it was a mesh of... It was the Muhammad Ali, Ric Flair, Muhammad Ali Inoki thing where they had wrestling rules and boxing rules in the same match. So there you go.
Yeah. Not for nothing, though. You watch the replay of that knockout with the brass knuckles. If he didn't pull that punch, Big Show's got a jaw of iron. Because he hit him hard.
Yeah, bro. That was
straight
so
through a punch.
And I guarantee you, if Floyd did not pull that punch, it was at Big Show's insistence. And going back to the Stone Cold, because going back to the Stone Cold podcast, they're talking about No Way Out, and one of the first things, No Way Out,
No Way Out.
They're talking about No Way Out, and one of the first things Big Show says is, "I told him to break my nose. If he's like the best fighter in the world today. If he didn't break my nose and get color, we're dead in the angle. Red makes green."
That's
it.
so
Yeah,
good.
this match is this is very good. I gave it I gave this match 3 3/4 stars. It was a very good match. The funny thing
and
is
they
too,
didn't do a lot, by the way. It was just a crowd. They did not do a lot.
Yeah.
The crowd was that in to see if Floyd get his ass kicked.
But I loved how they booked this match. It protected Big Show in defeat because Floyd had to cheat to beat him, and everybody just came off looking really good here. Floyd came off looking good. Big Show came off looking good. It was really good stuff here. I think they had to pivot because I think Big Show was meant to stay heel like the rest of the year. Because if you notice, Big Show's babyface, he doesn't do a whole lot until he turns heel and aligns himself with Vicky Guerrero. Like, that's how much they hate Floyd Mayweather's hatred was. It affected Big Show's booking a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So
gave him his 346th face turn, and then they followed that up with the 347th heel turn. So there you go.
Yeah. What did you think?
Actually, I can dispel that number. So go ahead, Casey. I'm sorry.
He's had more turns than NASCAR.
There you go.
Hey, so I'm gonna before I go over the match, I'm gonna dispel both of those statements, and I say this with complete scientific proof behind the statement. Okay, so Aaron and JJ both gave me massive crap a couple years ago, more than a couple years ago now, for me having more pictures with Mickey Mouse prior to me being hired by the company than Big Show had turned babyface or heel. And I went, no way. It's true. The number he has turned face or heel is actually well under me. And I'm in triple digits.
Well, there you go.
That's insane.
Big Show isn't even in the high double digits. So yes, I have an obsession with the mouse. Yes, I work for somebody who I'm obsessed with, and please don't call the police. Now, as far as the match goes, it was what it was, man. It was the attraction. It wasn't supposed to be a Meltzer moment. It wasn't supposed to be one of these, stuff we talk about for 20 years as being one of the greatest in-ring performances in the history of the universe. It was a boxer versus a wrestler. It just happened to get a main event WrestleMania spot. And it was fun to watch.
And it really delivered for what it was.
Yes.
It did. You think about all the boxer-wrestler matches in history, cinematic or otherwise, this actually did what the fuck it was supposed to do.
And it did well.
Like,
It did
seriously.
so well.
It did well.
And it drew.
Because you know that Floyd's not going to lose on pay-per-view, especially at this stage of his career. It's not going to be a thing.
Yeah.
You know, Big Show just came back, and Big Show, they made a big deal out of it at WrestleMania 2012.
Yep.
That Big Show was a WrestleMania choke artist. And by the way, I need to give Paul White his flowers. Not that he's watching this, because I doubt he's watching. But if he is, I need to give you props, Paul, because I'm sorry. I completely forgot you were Intercontinental Champion, and therefore a Triple Crown Champion. That is 100% my bad, brother.
Yeah.
Because you were Intercontinental Champion. You beat Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental title. My bad, Paul. I am sorry for forgetting that.
There you go.
But
Because I've always said Big Show could be a Triple Crown Champion if he ever only not won the U.S. title. It's like he was Intercontinental Champion, Jeff, you dumbass. So, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And
but
maybe if we were still working together, I could have reminded you of that.
Wrestling encyclopedia.
But it's not even you. I've got Stat Boy with me. I've got the Trivia King with me, Greg Cherry, and I don't think I said it out loud in front of either one of them or you ever. So that's why.
Yeah,
but one final thing I'll say before you move on. Floyd Mayweather, I think, goes in like that top 10 category of celebrities who did wrestling. Like he was
no
that
doubt.
good here. Like
No.
that's a
No doubt.
And
Yeah, he was.
And he didn't even really wrestle. He just sold his ass off.
He was a great seller. Although, how much was he selling?
Do you notice how the right? Do you know how the boxer? You notice how the boxers get involved, even if they're cinematic boxers. Mr. T did very well once he actually showed up and stopped fucking around. You know, Mike Tyson, great in the roles he's done in WWE.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali, in that brief moment he had as the outside the ring referee at WrestleMania, was stellar in that role.
And his
again,
match
Ali
with
wasn't Ali by
Inoki, and his
95,
match
but,
with
you
Inoki
know.
was legendary, even though it was for somewhat the wrong reasons.
I was gonna say the thing with Inoki is remembered for all the wrong reasons, but it's still up there in the thing. But Floyd came to deliver, and he did, head and shoulders above any other boxer that's had a full-on match at WWE. So bravo to him, man.
last two things before the main event. It showed another WrestleMania 24 ad, even though people already bought the pay-per-view. It was somebody...
We're on the main event, and they're showing a fucking ad. It was the Batista one,
it's
right?
Somebody,
some guy is proposing to
Yeah.
a woman. And by the way, this could not have helped JJ's perception at all, Jeff, because fucking Batista spears the poor innocent guy on one knee proposing to his girl, spears the fuck out of him, and then she's like, "Hey," and then she's like, "Yeah, okay," fucking steals his girl. What the fuck?
Not good for Big Dave's rep in the Casa 18 studios.
No.
Especially too, because I'm pretty sure it was reported. There's like rumors that Batista cheated on like his wife or girlfriend or whatever who had like cancer like in 06. So it was like
That's the main reason why we don't like Big Dave at the Casa, but we're gonna move on very quickly now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next, Kim Kardashian announces the attendance for.
Never mind. Move past that shit too. No.
Yeah, she literally, she's there.
Oh my God.
She's the host of WrestleMania. You wouldn't think of it. She's just there to announce the attendance. What did she do? What did she do?
She announced-
Hey
she announced the
guys,
attendance.
you set a record. We did it here. It's like, can you have a little fucking enthusiasm for your work? Can you have you're kidding me. Like, I get your main professional body of work prior to this was a sex tape that got stolen from your shut the fuck up with you got stolen bullshit. Yeah, come on, Kim. Throw me a freaking bone here. I'm not talking about the one that RJ gave you. Come on now.
I don't
Anyway.
think, with the amount of people that have been on that rep, I don't think you want her to throw you a bone. I'm gonna just put that out there right now and leave it the fuck right there. Anyway.
And hey, not to mention, at least the guy that was in that tape with her went on to launch a semi-successful brand.
Let's move on quickly. Jeff, I'm gonna let you take this one because it was another reason you went to this WrestleMania. It's the World Heavyweight Championship match. Edge defended against the Undertaker.
Oh my
Talk
God.
about the history and the match itself. Like,
It's your classic title versus the streak, man. It's once it was made aware to the Undertaker that he was undefeated, it's like, oh, all right, well we'll make it a thing. So I once we knew for sure it was going to be Undertaker involved in the I mean, we knew he'd be at WrestleMania, so it's like we're gonna go. Dad's gonna get to enjoy Undertaker's entrance live, and man, was his entrance at 24 good? I mean, we had the whole pyro, everything, the pyro, the music, the smoke, the music. It was just so good all around. The match itself, God, it went 24, almost 25 minutes. So good on Mark, even at that stage of his career, and for Edge to get to main event WrestleMania. I believe it was the only time he actually main evented, like actually final matched WrestleMania. So again, good on him. Oh,
WrestleMania
until
37.
WrestleMania
I was going to say
27.
until thing with Roman and Brian, which I
Oh wait.
not 27,
No.
37.
No. There is one more. There is one more.
Go ahead.
13.
Wait, he's in the main event at 13? What?
Psycho Sid.
Oh,
No, he's
no,
talking about Edge.
no,
Edge. Jesus Christ, guys.
Edge, not Taker, not Taker. Sorry,
Edge. Sorry.
I distracted him.
Yes.
I distracted him, leaving him a voice message about how he absolutely murdered Kim Kardashian with that fucking Raycon thing. Anyway, continue. Carry on.
Not ready. You weren't ready for that one, James.
No, I wasn't. That completely took me off guard.
Okay. So once again, Kim Kardashian proves that even though she's completely irrelevant, she throws everybody else off their shit. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Thank you. Okay. And there's still this fucking television. What?
I agree.
Anyway,
I agree.
God, the whole goddamn. You know what? Here we go. Hot take of the night from the professor. Fuck this shit. Here we go.
Let's
All
go.
right. You know what? The Kardashians wouldn't be a goddamn thing if their fucking old man hadn't got OJ offered on a murder rap for killing 2 people. There, I'm good. Thank you very much. All right.
Wait, that was Bruce Jenner that got OJ off?
No, Robert Kardashian, the actual father.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what the hell?
No,
I hope
no,
they're not
before
getting
Bruce
anybody
Jenner-
off. Shit.
Before Bruce Jenner figured out he was a woman, Robert Kardashian was Kris Jenner's husband and father of most of the Kardashian clan.
That I did not know.
And he was part of the legal team that somehow got O.J. Simpson away with double murder. Anyway,
The role of Noah
I said
Foster.
I don't give a fuck if I get.
Yeah, no, I get you.
What's that?
The role of Noah Foster, of not knowing what the fuck is going on other than the wrestling topics, will now be taken by tonight's Owen Finch, the host of the Wrestling Fortune 44 brand. Has no clue.
Yeah, exactly.
Has no clue what we're talking about.
I'm not a
That's okay.
Kardashian guy, so
There you go. Neither are we.
That's
We just
okay.
hate
I'm
him.
trying to bring it back, but trying to talk about the match because Lord knows that's what I'm here to do. Anyway, so yeah, it was a great, like I said, almost 25 minutes. These guys went. I thought it was so wonderfully structured. Great back and forth, give and take between both guys. You had moments where, again, once they figured out the streak was actually a thing, they always had a few moments, at least in most of the matches, where you had that glimmer of doubt when you were watching, whether you were live, whether you were watching at home, whether you were watching on, later, whatever the case may be. I still maintain that because Randy didn't do it, because Batista didn't do it, I went to that stadium thinking, we may leave here. My dad may not want to come back to a wrestling show because Edge might fucking do this.
yeah.
He's never beaten Undertaker's never beaten Edge on pay-per-view before. He's never beat him in a championship match before. It was scary. And again, just the finish was so just
Perfect.
not out of nowhere, like unexpected.
Yeah.
But it was it was perfect. It was he hit that second spear, And I mean, after he speared him and he still kicked out. God bless Undertaker for taking those shots to the ribs, because man,
Yeah, but that
Edge's spears were no joke.
no, indeed.
But the second
that's
one,
one of those things. That's one of those things where your heart like leaps out of your chest. I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
am I actually
Yeah.
about to see this?
when he hit that second spear, you could hear the crowd go, and then Undertaker locks in the Hell's Gate. You're like, oh, okay, we're good, because then he locked it in, and Edge, did the tap out. So it was cool to see. Of course, you get the big moment with the belt and the pose and the whole, the thing goes up. What people didn't realize, I'm gonna go into the story now. What I was trying to tell you guys, or what I was saving for later. It came out later that as Dad and I were exiting the stadium, because we pretty much once the pyro and the music were done, we were booking, we were moving, because the way Citrus Bowl Campbell Stadium is set up is you have to go down a big ramp to get down to the parking lot, and in our case, the shuttle back to Disney.
I think I remember seeing that ramp. I think I remember seeing that ramp. Shots of the
we are moving. We are hoofing, walking down this thing, trying to get back. Because we gotta get some sleep. Because our plan is to be back at the park in the morning. I think we were doing our full Magic Kingdom day the day after. Because we didn't go to Raw. We didn't buy tickets for Raw, which I regret to this day. Because that was such a cool thing with Flair afterwards. But anyway, so we get back to the hotel. We go to sleep. Like our phones were dead because whatever, and we went to sleep. We wake up and our hotel room phone is like all these messages. My mom had called to make sure we were still alive, and the reason she called to make sure we're still alive is because apparently after we'd vacated our seats, yes, at the opposite end of the stadium from us, but the celebration pyro from the Undertaker's win had ignited the other side of the upper deck of the stadium seats and just freaking sent everybody into a tailspin of avoiding pyro. There were people who actually got hurt from the pyrotechnics causing the fire.
I don't think
it was like, oh, what the fuck? So, are you guys okay? I'm like, yeah, we're at Disney. Like, what? And she goes, are you not watching the news? I'm like, we're on vacation. Of course I'm watching the fucking news. So we turn on the news, and it's like the lead story of the next morning. Like, holy shit! So, yeah.
I don't think
it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't think anybody died from this, but yeah, people did get
hurt.
Yeah, they got get hurt. Second degree burns, I think, was what the story reported.
That's
it was bananas, man. Because I mean, you see it on the news, and it's like it was nowhere. It was like, okay, so if let me try to help visualize. So where they came out for the entrance, as you called it, the as we called it, the Transformers middle finger. I was looking basically not quite 45-degree diagonal, but like we'll call it like not quite a full diagonal, but kind of that angle. Well, so we were at the complete opposite end of the stadium from where they came out.
Yeah.
The pyro got ignited along the upper deck, but closer to the entrance, obviously, because that's where it happened. So we were in no danger, but of course my mother, us being 3,000 miles away and seeing this shit on the news, she's losing her goddamn mind at home. And of course Dylan's mom too, because God, dude, she's about to have a kid, and oh shit, the father's gonna be hurt. So it was.
Yeah, it must have been scary.
It was bad night for my mom and Dylan's mom, to say the very least. But it's kind of like we didn't fucking know. So.
But yeah, let's go around. James, what did you think of this match overall?
I think this is one of my this is, honest to God, one of my favorite Mania matches of all time. I think people really underrate this match.
Oh wow!
I think this is the way I separate it, because I love Shawn Michaels and Flair as a match. I think that is moment of the night though for me, because of the greater circumstance surrounding it. And not that the match was bad, by the way. It's second best match of the night by far. This is my match of the night, because the match was so back and forth. It was such a great workhorse match. It was two of the best in the freaking world, I felt like, going for the World's Heavyweight Championship in the main event of WrestleMania. As a SmackDown guy, it gives me reminiscent, because I remember hating this prick known as Edge. I hated him with every fiber of my being, and was such an Undertaker mark by this point. Go ahead, Case.
Aren't they 2 of the SmackDown 6 anyway?
Yeah, well, there are 2.
Yeah.
The
Undertaker
SmackDown
wasn't
6.
officially, but yeah.
Yeah, 2 of the SmackDown 6. I'd say more SmackDown 8, because when Taker got drafted to SmackDown, then he became kind of... You could throw Brock and Taker in that hat, too. You know what I mean? Especially during that early part of
Yeah,
SmackDown.
that's fair.
So, yeah, I
But
would
yeah,
say,
but yeah,
definitely
the
2 of the SmackDown 8. Go ahead.
But
Joe.
yeah, the 6 they mentioned with the writing team was Edge, Eddie, Ray, Angle, Benoit, Chavo?
Yes, Chavo.
No. Yeah, Chavo. Okay, but yeah, Undertaker was so Brock signs with SmackDown after SummerSlam exclusively, which is why the world title became a thing. And then Undertaker left shortly after because he became number 1 contender to Brock on Raw the night after SummerSlam.
Right.
And it's like, well, if the title's here, I'm gonna go here.
Exactly.
And then the following Monday, since they had no championship, Bischoff went big gold. Here you go, Triple H, because he was the other guy in that match.
Yeah.
So
I love this match, man. I
Anyway.
really do.
So good.
I loved everything about this. It was so back and forth. I look at this as like Edge had a counter for everything Taker did. But also Taker had a counter for everything Edge did. Because when he goes for old school at one point, and Edge yanks him off, but Undertaker rolls through into a lucha arm drag.
Right?
Luchador arm drag by fucking Undertaker. I
couldn't believe it, yeah.
floored. It was so good, dude. There was so many great spots. Like, at one point, the Tombstone got counted into the Edge-O-Matic, which I thought ruled. The Educator was
good.
I love the Educator spot, the way they transitioned into the Educator. There were so many tremendous moments in this match.
Remind me real quick. The Educator is Edge's submission move?
Yes. It's the fucked up Lion Tamer sharpshooter combo. And that's the best way I can describe it, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my all-time favorite moment for any referee ever, because there's a ref up that happens, and Taker hit the Tombstone.
Here comes Charles.
Charles gives Paul London an absolute run for his money, bro. He is hauling ass down this ramp, bro. It's all-timer shit, man.
Come on, Charles. Come on, Charles.
You just hear chariots of fire as it turns slow motion.
Yeah. Just add the fucking like horse galloping sound as he's running down to the ring. As he's running down. Dude, he's running down. I seriously, like, every time I see this, there's a meme that was going around for ages, for days after this aired, right? And it was, the fucking, I forget the name of the song, but it was the one that goes, dun, 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 and do a slow-mo.
Yeah,
that's Chariots of Fire. That's Chariots of
Oh
Fire.
my god, okay, yeah, Chariots of Fire. So that was playing, and there was another one, I think, freaking like Three Stooges, there was a Three Stooges one that's underrated. The as he's running down to the ring and they speed it up like 2 times like they did in the Three Stooges, and it's funnier than shit.
Yes.
Oh my god.
It's
it was
good stuff.
all-timer meme.
For me, if you're gonna do double speed, it should be Yakety Sax.
Yeah, yes.
Shit.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah,
You guys are terrible.
Bro, we gotta do an edit
Casey,
where
what did you think of this?
where it is.
All love to Charles Wilding.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Love the Edge.
Yeah. For real.
Absolutely.
Real quick before Casey goes, there's got to be an edit somewhere. I'll even do it my goddamn self where he's running down to Paul London's theme.
That'd be great.
Go ahead, Casey.
Dude, if his footfalls sync up with Paul London's theme, I'm gonna shit myself laughing.
Well, because James can actually make that a thing now, so we're gonna make sure we hit the camera and make sure you watch you shoot yourself when you're laughing now.
Hell, bro, you kidding me? After everything I've done, that's child's play.
Oh, by the way, not for nothing, James. I got text messages from Statboy all afternoon about the edits of the opening to Throwback Thursday stuff from JJ. He's telling me, great job. I'm like, thank you. Didn't do a goddamn thing on it. Thank you. And he's like,
Yeah, yeah.
He's like,
He
whoever's
messaged
this is
me.
a genius. I'm like,
Yeah, he
James.
messaged me. He
Yeah,
messaged me
yeah.
about that. I was
Okay.
like, yeah, that was me. And he said that was really good.
Yeah, that is all JJ and James. But thank you for the praise on a goddamn thing I didn't do. I appreciate that. I didn't do fuck all, but
Yeah.
I love it anyway. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, there you go.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Casey.
So to answer what Owen has probably been trying to say for the past 5 minutes,
I know.
this was easily my number 2 match of the night. Like this was just 2 solid ass workers. They had their boots on. They knew what they had to do, and they pulled out all the goddamn stops. You had Vicky in the wheelchair in the opening. You had counters into counters into counters. You had the Edge heads show up at one point, Hawkins and Ryder, and holy hell, you did not. For all of the faith that I had in Undertaker to keep his streak going, you did not know who was going over until that final Hell's Gate.
Yeah, dude.
So props to Mark and Adam for keeping me on the edge of my seat.
And by the
25
way,
minutes.
this is when he could bleed from the mouth because they were still TV-14. Because that's
Right.
what happened to Viscera. It was an accident. It was supposed to be a triangle choke, and then his knee slipped right in between the throat and just made Viscera bleed for shoot. And he ended up having to take time off soon after.
Which is no small feat considering how big a man Nelson was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Especially by that
Yeah,
point.
that's crazy.
But anyhow,
I mean,
But
yeah.
go ahead, Casey.
Yeah, but I don't know if I would put this on my top 10 list of favorite all-time Mania matches, but I would absolutely put it in my top 5 list of matches from the streak.
Mm.
I was gonna say, is this? Okay, I'm gonna ask both of you because I'm way biased, so I can't even. Yes, my favorite streak match. I was fucking there. Your favorite streak match?
Sean and 25.
Yeah,
that's fair.
yeah. Honestly, probably Sean 25, Sean 25 or Sean 26. Either Sean match.
Yeah, if one is number 1, the other is 1A. They're pretty much the
Yeah.
same match, and
That's
they
fair.
are amazing.
Yeah, and again, I love both of those, and the ones with Hunter. I'm very biased because I was there for
Sure, yeah.
four.
Goddamn reason.
I mean, I think if you ask Greg Cherry, who is the biggest Shawn Michaels mark I know besides Stab Boy, and they're neck and neck at this point, he was at WrestleMania 28 for Hell in a Cell, the end of an era. So even as great as the matches with Shawn were, I think even he would go, yeah, I was there for Hell in a Cell, which was ungodly emotional. So
Yeah. Especially since Sean was in the match too anyway, so.
Yeah.
exactly.
Sean
Exactly.
and Taker have shared a lot of fucking moments in that company together. To be fair.
Absolutely.
I will tell you, WrestleMania 28. I actually just watched that one literally this morning. That WrestleMania almost got the apartment destroyed in Long Beach with JJ, and I said that for 2 reasons. Number 1, the opening match for the world title, 18 seconds of it.
Well, I mean, we did get the yes movement out of it, so.
I understand that, but in the moment, one of my favorite people, one of my dearest friends in wrestling,
Got fucked.
Yeah.
got fucked with no lube. I was mad, and then. You get halfway through the show and you had this emotional thing. As much as Sean is pumping around the ring, emotional from the moment, I'm doing the same pumping in the room because fuck me, the streak's over. I'm losing my goddamn mind. So yeah,
Yeah,
it was,
that is
it was a rough day.
Absolutely
It was a rough day.
For my freaking list of streak matches, Hell in a Cell does make number 3. Absolutely. Specifically, Hell in a Cell with Sean. We don't talk about Big Boss Man.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Neither-
Ray, that was not your night.
No.
Neither
not
does
at all.
WWE because they didn't put it on
No.
their.
No, for obvious
No, I said
reasons.
they don't talk about.
For
Yeah.
obvious
No,
But
you know what though? So it's funny. They don't advertise it on like the top streak moments or whatever online, but the streak DVDs they sold, they still included on there. They don't really go into it in depth because they have that narrator who has that voice that he talks about the streak and they don't talk much about it, especially the aftermath. And every time you watch, Okay, now see, I'm gonna disagree with showing the aftermath because I was watching 15. I always fast forward through the Undertaker match because it's just that bad. But when I hit to go back to regular viewing and not fast forward, freaking Boss Man's hanging. I'm like, did they actually put that back on the network? Like, holy shit! Because I remember in the DVD releases and the old network feed, they would fade from Undertaker looking like this to the top of the cell to some other bullshit.
Yeah, they put that back.
So they reinstated it.
They reinstated
it, which, you know what?
I'll even confirm this with you, Jeff, because Casey and I watched this as it happened, and it was live on his channel. They aired it back pre-Peacock. They reinstated it while it was still the WWE Network.
You know what? I won't say good for them because it is still a shit show of a match.
No, and it was a really weird thing.
But the thing is, though, I was talking about this on episode 2 of Talk Wrestling, which, God, again, horrible to watch back all these years later. Just makes my brain bleed to watch how bad I was. But saying in the moment, you can't ignore Chris Benoit's career at that stage prior to the last 3 days of his life. The fact that they reinstated the hanging on the network pre-20, or was 2019, 2018 they made the deal with Peacock? That shows how far we've come since the tragedy of June 2007.
I agree, yeah.
In the moment, it's like, nope, don't put that on there. That ain't gonna, we're not even gonna go near that shit.
Yeah, true.
And now it's like, you know what? And again, this is me going briefly into my Disney employee hat here for just a second, if I may. You can't ignore history. History is there. It is what it is. As long as you put a disclaimer on something saying, hey, we did this. We shouldn't have done it. Make an informed decision before you press play here.
Yeah.
We did. Our company's done it with Dumbo. We've done it with Aladdin. We've done it with a lot of stuff that we kind of go, ooh, looking back. Maybe we should do the same thing.
Wait, say that again.
Maybe we should do the same thing.
Said, looking at you, Song of the South.
Yeah, there you go.
That's actually the one we still have not reinstated. And and again, I don't work in that area of the company, so I don't know the reason. I guess it's because it's so
bad,
divisive. Yeah. It's so not that it's bad, because you know what? In 1947, it is what it is.
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. And personally, I love Uncle Remus, but
so my thing with Song of the South has always been this: if it was so bad that it never got a second release, if it was so bad it never got an official home video release, why was it shown on TV up through the mid 90s?
Mm-hmm.
And why was there an attraction built on it in 1989?
Yeah,
and why was Zippity Doodah still part of the sing-along songs family for
ages? Granted, in this last year, the company has finally started to take down the Splash Mountain attraction as far as the story of it. They're rebranded it for Tiana and Prince and the Frog purposes, and they've stopped playing Zippity Doodah in our Esplanade between the two parks. So it's like, okay, that's great. But what about the last 60-something years, or almost 80? 40, what about the last almost 80 years?
Right, exactly.
Do we really need to it's like shh, no, it didn't happen. Like, fucking it happened. Yeah. Same thing here. It's yes, what happened that weekend, terrible. But I loved Paul Heyman's take on it when they were talking to him on Inside the Ropes. I forget what year it was. Forgive me. Mm-hmm. Somebody was, Benoit was brought up, and some guy, oh yeah, that's my boy, and talking about Benoit, and why do you say that? And then Paul kind of did the kind of step back for a second, go, okay, take away everything that happened, prior to what happened. One of the greatest wrestlers of all time, top 10 all time, would have made him ECW champion when I had ECW in the 90s. Had he not got ECW, would have been ECW champion the night he died. But at the end of the day, CTE or not, he had a choice. Nancy and Daniel didn't. Fuck him. That's what Paul Heyman said.
Yeah, true that.
So,
true that. There you go.
Now, as far as the decision to reinstate clips because, of a renewed sense of enlightenment, like that's fine. You can't. There's no point in hiding from history.
Nope.
You
No,
just
absolutely
explain
not.
it to your audience. Like seriously, have the old man, have fun. Like, look, we fucked up here. This is what's going to happen in this match. This is what's going to happen on this show. You make the decision.
Yep. That's it.
Now, certain things like editing the entirety of the Owen segments out, I completely co-sign on that. Because that was fucked up what happened to Owen Hart. And
Yeah.
I can't imagine them being okay in their brain with any sort of future profiteering from replays of that show in its entirety of original broadcast run. You can't show that shit. You can't show the segment of him being interviewed. You can't show JR talking about. You can't show the promo with Deborah and Jarrett. My God, is that hard to watch back if you have the bootleg tape. You can't hide her mystery. Just don't fucking embrace it like it's a brother. Just
Right,
acknowledge it and let your audience decide what they want to do with it.
True. Anyway.
So good on them for it. Sorry, that was a really bad moral high tangent or whatever, but it just bugs the fuck out of me that they've done stuff like that and then just like, okay, well, we can show a guy being hung in the middle of a cell because that's clearly didn't happen to talent in real life. I'm sorry, Brian Christopher, what happened to you again?
Yeah.
But we can, we're so damn selective and about what's right and what's wrong in this world. It's like, no, let everybody make their own goddamn decision making.
I agree.
For sure.
Anyway,
Also,
if I get any hate tweets, I'm sorry, but it is what it is.
Also, to be fair to their decision to reinstate the boss man hanging, you could pretty clearly see the harness when he swung around.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And I get that. And again, I'm not condemning their choice to reinstate it without acknowledging that they should have done it. It's like,
Yeah, because they shouldn't have done it in the first place.
yeah, exactly. They should have done that in the first place. Yeah. Like, I get you're beefing with the boss. I get you're beefing with the company. I get you want to take over the company. You don't take over the company by hanging the guy's your freaking security guard.
Yeah, exactly.
And then not only do you do that, here's the other thing about that really just retroactively chaps my ass about it. Corporate ministry comes together, right?
Yeah.
We find out Vince is the guy after all.
Oh, fucking hell.
You tell me Ray Chen's not going to want to kick Vince's ass for that? Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on. Really? Really?
He should have. No,
like,
he
again,
instead he doubled downs on his loyalty to Vince and gets a heavy and Bull Buchanan to join his side.
Yeah.
Freaking comes out to the old boss man theme with the freaking troll and ice thing. Like he's gonna go on there and then I love you guys. It's like, God damn it, Ray, I quit. Fuck this shit.
All right, now all
So,
fucking
anyway,
moral high tangent aside, Casey, your rating on the
sorry,
on
I legit. I'm sorry.
No, you're
okay.
fine. It's fine. You're Jeff Meacham. It's fine. Go ahead, Casey.
Wow.
Besides,
Don't give me that one.
besides, we're live. We meant to go there.
There you go.
I reckon so.
Yeah, this if you have not, getting back to Edge and Undertaker Mania 24, if you have not seen this match, go out of your way to watch it. It's
Yes.
really
Yes.
great.
Absolutely. So, given my thoughts on the match, I love the match. You waited for months for Undertaker to finally get his revenge on Edge after costing him the World Heavyweight Championship several times and being screwed out of contending for it. I loved seeing, and you hadn't seen him have a one-on-one match. I don't really think ever. Like, this was the first time they ever had really a one-on-one match, other than the cash-in when Edge had. But this, I don't count cash-in as like a one-on-one match because that's more of an angle than anything else.
Right.
They threw all types of hoops at the Undertaker. They had Edge consistently went up him, and you had Undertaker counter it, and they did the right thing. They did a long-term booking, and Undertaker win. And what's the crazy thing about it is the feud was like peaking anyways. Like they did the rematch at Backlash, which was really good. They did the matches at Judgment Day and at One Night Stand and the TLC match, and then the Hell in a Cell match culminated the feud. Like this feud was feud of the year, and well, okay, I was gonna say feud of the year 2008. It would have been had Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho not happened.
Yeah, although it was
but-
very close. Definitely 07 probably, although Batista and Taker also. But they were all intertwined with each other somehow, some way.
But yeah, this is just really enjoyable. And you actually believe that Edge could have beaten the streak. So I give the match like 4.5 stars. This was just a great way to close the show. And you could make the argument maybe Flair and Michael should have gone on last, but this isn't as bad of a decision as WrestleMania 25 with Triple H and Orton main evented, WrestleMania 18 with Triple H and Jericho main evented over Rock and Hogan.
Which by the way, I will say in defense of that, and we're going to be doing a retro on that, spoiler, not a bad match, and the crowd was at least very much into the ending, and they fucking went nuts when Triple H did win the belt, at least. That is the thing.
And to defend the talent, not the company, in 25, they handcuffed one of the most personal, deep-rooted rivalries in the company's history by not letting it be no holds barred, balls out.
Which I mentioned with Noah and Owen yesterday, practically. So there you go.
Yeah, we all. Yeah. But yeah, great match here. Great world title main event. Now let's go around and we have to do letter grades for WrestleMania 24. We're going to start with Casey since he picked this retro. He gets graded first.
There you go.
I'm going to say a solid B+. This is a good show. I don't think I'd be so generous as to call it criminally underrated, but this Mania is definitely better than you remember.
Yes.
James?
Unless you're Jeff Meacham.
Yes, because he was there live.
That's fair.
That's fair. I am going to go A-. I would have given a solid A, but the thing that hinders me on giving it an A is the annoyances. Obviously, the stuff that we really like the Money in the Bank match. I actually enjoyed the freaking opening match more than a lot of other people, so I enjoyed that a lot. I enjoyed the freaking Floyd and Big Show match. I enjoyed the Flair Shawn match for obvious reasons. The triple threat WWE title match, the main event, everything when it comes to that absolutely delivered. The only things that completely threw me off was the Carlito Bird ad, the Batista ad, and the fucking ECW goddamn title match. The only thing that I was just meh on is Batista and Umanga. And even then, it's like, I'll give that a pass because it's like, at least Batista fucking made it something because he was able to deadlift Umaga even though he lost his footing on the Batista bar.
Right.
So, you know, I give WrestleMania a solid A- grade. I think it was a very good show, very good Mania, 4 marquee matches, and I think that's the reason it got over 1 million buys. So there you go.
I'm going to agree with Casey. I'm going to go B+. I probably would like it more had I not struggled with that WWE Championship match in 2K14. I probably would have liked that WWE title match, but I just had such...
Fair enough. Fair enough, Owen. That's fair.
But yeah, Jeff Meacham, you were there.
It's you know the experience of it. Of course, you know A++. You know you're there. It's freaking Disney World. You're there at WrestleMania Hall of Fame. The whole thing. Looking back on the weekend and watching the wrestling parts of it back all these years later, which I did do this week, because I knew I was going to be doing this today. I will stick with James and say A- because it was good. I'll even say it was great, but the stuff that was bad was bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
And that's why. That's why, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing if you have bad stuff and you have good stuff that just completely makes you forget about it. But the fact that we just intensely remember those stupid, unnecessary ads during this course of the show, that's not good that you remember those things.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I didn't remember. I remembered they were coming even when I was watching. I'm like, oh god, here comes that. I'm like, it's like watching a bad car wreck on Faces of Death. Like you can't fast forward. It's like, oh, it's so bad, but it's so fuck it.
But
and you don't.
Go ahead.
Again,
go ahead, Owen.
And again, why are you showing WrestleMania 24 as when people have already bought the
They
show?
bought the
Like, it's
pay-per-view.
Yeah,
It makes
I
no
never
sense.
they never did that at any other WrestleMania that I remember. Like, what the actual shit were they doing? It was the weirdest thing.
I will tell you right
Yeah.
now. This is
Actually, now you mention it. Sorry to cut you off, James, but now you mention it. Did we even get an ad for Mania 25 on that show? Because they usually advertise the next year's Mania on Mania.
They did. I believe they cut it out of the network for whatever reason, but they did have the Mania 25 ad. Yeah, and it was and the reason why I think they cut it out is because the logo was actually different for 25 compared to the one that they ended up going with.
You know what? Yeah, because when they first put it on the network, and I actually had the DVD at 24 because I was there. They had the 25 logo was almost identical to the 24 logo.
Yeah.
So that's why they cut it out of the advertising.
And then they were like,
baby.
and then they went,
Yeah.
it's gonna be the 25th anniversary. No, it's actually the 24th anniversary.
Not how anniversaries work, you dumb fuck.
If Vince doesn't know math, it's okay. He doesn't know what a freaking burrito is.
I don't know
even
math
though he
either,
ate it
no
for like
fairness.
15 years. I will say, because this is nostalgia for me in a way, because I remember this being the tale of two shows in a lot of ways. And you saw the really good stuff, which was exceptional good, by the way, which made this A- Mania still. But you also had that bad stuff. And there was a lot of people on the YouTube scene back in the day when it was at its fucking infancy. Like Mikey O'Shea, MB Wrestler 87, for those who remember him. And Doug and Bill and Doug from RVD Tito for Life.
Love Mikey. Yeah.
RVD Tito for Life as well. Bill and Doug. They clocked that shit early that WWE was going down with Vince at the helm. They clocked that shit early on, like, okay, something's off here, and then slowly over time it was getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse year after year. You kind of saw a little bit of that here, especially with how they treated the Land of Extreme, or what was so called. So there you go.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
All right, so I think that wraps up the show. Jeff, is there anything else you want to talk about when it comes to your WrestleMania 24 experience, since it's going to be one of your last times?
24 experience, I will always remember this show, and I will always think back on it fondly, and I will always think back on that week in my life fondly, because the week ended with me becoming a parent, and it was a cool little. It was. Talk about your life changing over the course of a very short period of time. It was very cool. I do want to be the shameless promotion shill guy, so I'm going to have James throw that up here if I may, real quick. I don't know if you can, how that works on Discord.
I'm using OBS, so what I did is I don't have necessarily layouts or screens, unfortunately. But what I did do is in the live chat, all of our stuff, it's in there. It's ready to go for anybody that wants to click on it.
Oh, thank you.
So there you go.
Okay. Well, so with me and being graphics guy, I'll just briefly summarize really quick. All three channels that I primarily appear on, and I say three because I'm not always on James's channel or Noah's channel, or even Greg's channel. I'm on Greg's channel once a week, but he's part of the promotion thing. We've got, let's see.
Oh,
God bless Noah. He's a trooper.
I see why you sent that to me now. I actually can throw that up. That's my bad.
Oh,
so give me un moment, but you can talk about it while I
yeah. So yeah, we've got my dear buddy JJ Williams, my dad's on wrestling tag team partner for years and years now, is doing Renegades reviews. His feature this month is movies starring or heavily featuring Hall of Famers. So WrestleMania week, he's having. God bless him. The Chaperone.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Good luck to him.
Wrong side of town, which is a Rob Van Dam movie, by the fucking way. It just happened to have Batista in the marketing more than Rob because it was Batista. But it's a Rob Van Dam movie, god damn it. And Escape the Undertaker, which, of course, features the New Day because, it was just funnier than hell. He also is having Stat Boy Sports Bar each Tuesday, including that week, and he'll be doing more of his Throwback Thursday. That's just WrestleMania week alone. Our buddies at No DQ, they've got a stream every single day of WrestleMania week. God bless them. Raw recap from Aaron, Night 1 predictions Tuesday, Dynamite recap Wednesday, Night 2 predictions Thursday, SmackDown recap Friday, Stand and Deliver recap Saturday, whatever the hell time that damn show's over. WrestleMania Night 1 and 2 recap. So Aaron is going to probably pass out from a minor bit of exhaustion after the No DQ review Tuesday night, April 4th. So
Yeah.
God bless Aaron for that.
He better stock up on his Diet Coke.
Diet Pepsi.
Right? Seriously.
I think
he
Diet Pepsi.
actually switched to Diet Pepsi?
No, he's been.
It's
a
always
Diet
been Diet
Pepsi.
Pepsi.
Aaron,
It's always been Diet
Rift
Pepsi.
and I are the
Yeah.
same on that, man. I drink Diet Pepsi. He drinks Diet
Yeah.
Pepsi.
Aaron made complete humor fodder out of Diet Coke bit back in the old XMB days. So, and then there's my channel, and Greg's channel is included because the Wednesday show is the Greg Cherry show, but it's on both our channels. Talk Wrestling is going to be on Monday, WrestleMania week. We're doing the WrestleMania week kickoff party there. That's at the hell time is that show at? 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific Monday before Raw. That way we can make sure we get my shit in before Raw starts. The ladies of the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse Media are going to preview and predict WrestleMania Tuesday night, the 28th. Greg Cherry show Wednesday, and then we hit watch along craziness. Impact's Multiverse United, Only the Strong Survive, Impact New Japan, I should say. Which, by the way, James, I don't know if you're in the group chat of the Open Mic Night Core 4.
Mm-hmm.
Minoru Suzuki and Kenta.
Ah!
Is going to be a thing. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for that. Okay.
Minoru Suzuki and Kenta at Multiverse United. So that's Thursday night.
That's awesome.
Friday night, we're going to
That's
be
so
covering both Super Card of Honor and whatever they make out of the Hall of Fame, because they didn't announce shit for that this year yet. But we're apparently going to be calling something about the Hall of Fame Friday night, the 31st. And then we're doing a watch along of Stand and Deliver. We're doing a watch along of WrestleMania Night 1, WrestleMania Night 2, but I will be at WrestleMania Night 1, so I won't be part of that. It'll be a JJ and Noah calling the action with hopefully James helping produce or whatever the case may be. We're doing a watch along of Raw After Mania. Our dad's episode, April 3rd, is going to be the top 10. Speaking of ECW champions, the top 10 all-time ECW world champions will be the dad's episode that week. And no, Chavo Guerrero will not be on that list.
Spoiler.
And then
What about Kane?
spoiler alert. Yeah, no shit. Or Kane. Sorry, guys. Love you both, but no. Sorry, Glenn. And then the streak, if you will, of live streams is not in there because April 4th, I'm going to be on the Nerdy Q review recapping Mania weekend in my experience. April 5th, Wednesday, will be the Greg Cherry show. I won't be on that show because I'll be at Disneyland with my son for his birthday. April 6th is the next day. Like I said in the opening of the show, April 6th is the next day, I don't have a damn thing going on. So if you don't hear from me April 6th, it's because I'm seeping.
I would make sure to not hit you up. So I got to ask you one final. I got to ask you one final question because I'll kick myself if I don't. You said you're Dylan's mom. I want to make sure was pregnant with Dylan and stuff. How worried were you that she was going to go into labor like right before Mania, like during this trip and everything?
That's what I'm saying. So we went to her final checkup appointment Wednesday, April 2nd. Like, no idea she was in labor because there was no complications, there was no anything, and she's disabled. So it was always a high risk pregnancy. It was always going to be a high risk situation when we went for the delivery. No idea she was in labor, dude. We literally checked into the appointment, just casual Wednesday, whatever. And oh yeah, by the way, she's in labor already. Huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, we weren't worried at all. Now, to this day, both her and now the kid, you almost missed. Like, look, you little shits. That plane touched ground Tuesday. The only way I would have missed it is if there was inclement weather coming back. If God decided, fuck this guy, he saw WrestleMania live again, take him out in the air. Or if the traffic on the freeway was so bad coming home, we had some sort of stupid wreck on the freeway.
Yeah.
So, in front of these three wonderful gentlemen and everybody watching, to more so his mom than my kid, because I love my kid, but go fuck yourselves with the bullshit. I almost missed the birth. Anyway,
Anyway,
Damn.
and honestly, Jeff, it's LA in 2008. That last one is actually pretty likely.
Mm-hmm.
No. And hell. Do you know there's a reason why I have a ride to WrestleMania both days? Because I ain't going in that shit by myself on transit or in traffic. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Chance. You couldn't pay me enough.
Now, by the grace of the gods of wrestling, no, I'm not talking about JBL or Baron Corbin, but
For that matter.
Saturday morning, I will be briefly having to deal with downtown LA nonsense and parking and traffic because that's where the Undertaker meet and greet's going to be. But once I get out of the convention center, it's on to Inglewood, and parking in the stadium is always fun. Not going to lie, but I'm not driving, so I don't have to worry about it. I just have to worry about not having a mild stroke from shit that may happen at WrestleMania or not, which again, 23 days. I'm just so jazzed.
And shitting your pants from finally getting to meet the Undertaker.
Hey, what's up, Zero?
Good to see everybody in the chat, by the way. Appreciate you guys. I will say that adult diapers are a thing, and I'll probably have my in stock for April 1st.
There you go.
Because it's he and Nate's at this point that I haven't met that I still like, oh my god. So
Yeah.
There you go.
So Casey, Jeff plugged all his stuff. Why don't you plug all your stuff?
Well, let me pull up the live chat first.
Well, do you want me to just do it just for ease and convenience case? Because I could just do that.
No, I'm already here. There we go. Okay.
I'm already doing the thing.
I'm already doing this shit. Okay.
You want to start with Royal Rumble match marathon? I did it under Owen's account like an idiot. I meant to do it under yours, but yeah, I tried.
All right.
I tried.
Hey, you made the effort. That is all that really matters. So yeah, we did the Royal Rumble match marathon. We watched 5 Royal Rumbles back to back. Just the matches, not the full event. You can check that out.
Zero was on with us,
it's
and
on my channel.
Yeah, Zero was on with us, and he's in the chat right now. So what's up, man? We're about to wrap things up. Go watch this on demand after
What's
it's live.
good? Yep.
So there you go.
But yeah, aside from that, subscribe to Luke Lynch, the Insanity Works Incorporated. I'm on Twitch, Luke 12 Lynch. I'm also on Tumblr, Luke 12 Lynch as well. And yeah, the other thing that has come back is Stable Wars. Episode 5 is available on my channel at this moment, so go check that out. Yeah. Lots of good stuff between James, Mike, Noah, and I believe Kuzan was on that one.
Yes, no, Kuzan was not on there. It was Michael X, Mr. Sadio, and Noah Foster, actually.
Oh, right, Mr. Sadio. Sorry, I forgot. Apologies. Do not mean to disrespect the extended family.
There you go. But yeah, there you go. So check that out. Also, the other 2 we didn't mention because I realized I posted this twice in the live chat because I'm a derp. WWF Backlash 2000 watch along, which Kuzan was on there for. And my last part of NASCAR Thunder 2004 Let's Play. If you want to watch me rage at racing on Daytona Beach 500, that's the stream for you. There you go.
Okay, so James, is there anything you want to plug or promote?
You guys can check out, and this is all in the live chat on my end. I actually did it right this time for the most part. Don't forget to show up at Mike Night, of course, brother, of course. You know what? Now that I think about it, I'm actually... I should have freaking put that in the chat, although... Yeah, you guys will see it if you subscribe to one of these channels, so it'll be fine. I'll definitely make sure to make a habit of plugging that going forward, though. You guys should check out, first off, Watch Party for Dynamite on my channel. That's for Revolution Go Home Week. We did Dynamite and Rampage, so check out those watch parties. Check out Noah Foster and his Simply Predicting panel, which I was on and a bunch of other people were on for as well, for the Revolution predictions, as well as the Revolution coverage on the Cassidy 18 Studios and on the Jeff Meacham Network. Go check out that. It's my favorite fucking call I've ever done besides Immortal. I thought that show was fucking phenomenal. It was stellar. Probably my best call to date. I'm so proud of that. And I couldn't have had a better dance partner to do that with on the booth. So Shout out Noah Foster, by the way, who did the WrestleMania 25 retro with Owen. You can check that out as we speak right now on this channel. You would have seen it go live right now. I don't have it in the live chat, but you can see it when you click the subscribe, turn that post notification bell on, and check out what's on the channel. You can also check out the Don DeMarco Show playlist. Once WrestleMania has finally kind of simmered down, and that week simmered down, King A-Train and myself will be back with some lyrical breakdowns, if you will. We're going to be going over Tech 9 and people who have featured on Tech 9, including one Dwayne Johnson, which is going to wrap up the whole thing. So go check that out. It's going to be a hell of a little shindig there for the Don DeMarco Show. You can also check out the SMBZ voice acting playlist. Episode 3 is coming soon this year, and the minute it drops, Casey, myself, and a few others, I'm sure, from FTW Productions is going to be hard at work voice acting that, so definitely check that out so far. You can check out my CAW League, Weymouth Youth Wrestling. That's youtube.com/user/WYW Pride. Check out WYW Immortal, which we linked in the chat as well. We're coming up on, believe it or not, Casey, the 4-fucking-year anniversary of this show. It's been that damn long, and it's still fucking great show to watch back. Go check that out if you want. Watch AEW Spark from this week and from last week, which Owen will plug, but I'll also plug it too, because Noah and I break down what happened during the Revolution Go Home and on the actual show itself. Go ahead, Case.
We're constantly plugging Immortal, and rightly so, I believe. But people really sleep on Gold Rush, the mega event before that. That's a really good show, top to bottom.
Yeah,
check that out too.
Check that out too. Check out
Weymouth Youth Wrestling.
Yeah, check it out on the Insanity Works Incorporated channel, because that's the one with the best quality. You can also check out NXT Roadblock watch along coverage, which involved me and Noah, where I laughed at Simone Johnson's attire, which I have clipped on my channel because it was funny. And
It was bad.
No, it was hilarious. Simone Johnson in overalls, looking like Mario, looking like Goth Mario, was the best. And then that's pretty much all I got, man. That's all my plugs out of the way. And check out Open Mic Night this Saturday coming up. Saturday, I don't know what the hell's on deck, because JJ never gives me the list. I always go in blind, but
it's one of those. Right now, there's so little news, which is not a bad thing. We just kind of JJ just kind of comes up with it either night before or morning of, and we just go for it.
There you go.
So, but I know if I told you guys, I actually am off Saturday, so I'll be a part of Open Mic Night this week after all.
Yay! So Jeff Meacham will be on with us on Open Mic Night. And also, one last show that I don't think JJ was going to expect us to do. Check out Throwback Thursdays, because Jeff's content's on there, old No DQ content's on there, but also old J Hebert Studios content is airing there. Right now, episode 1 and 2 of the Indie Force podcast are up on the Casa channel right now to go watch back. So if you want to know what the hell we were like back then, for good or for better, or for worse, or whatever, there it is. There it is, right there.
For good or for good or for worse.
I was gonna say, my shit was bad back in the day too. So don't even it is what it is, kids.
For good or for better, for worse or whatever. I like that.
There you go.
Yeah.
So,
Shirt for this is a shirt for the Teespring. There you go.
Yeah,
for good or for better, that's
for good or for the better, or for the worse, or for whatever. There you go. Now, Owen,
there you go.
You're the last one to plug shit.
So you could expect a lot of stuff coming from me. But the stuff that's already out, you can check out if you want to get yourself hyped up and watch other retro wrestling review series on WrestleMania. You can check out the very first WrestleMania 1 that Chris Dodd and I did a few weeks ago. You can check out WrestleMania 15's retro, which was recorded first by the Indie Force, and then I did a little video talking about it, so you can check that out. You can check out Casey and I's retro for WrestleMania 2000, Jeff's first WrestleMania that he ever went to. And these aren't in the chat, but I'm just going to plug them. If you're in the mood to watch Elimination Chamber themed retros, you can watch New Year's Revolution 05, New Year's Revolution 06, and James did a re-retro of Survivor Series 2002, which was very fun. Well, at least I think so. I
It was a
haven't asked if
very
he had
good
fun
show.
doing it yet,
Yes, I can confirm it's a very good show. Top to bottom. Love it.
But yeah, obviously you can check out the Royal Rumble retros. We did 2000, 2008, and 2011. And there's other retros you can
1998,
check out.
hopefully 1998, hopefully coming soon.
Yep. Other stuff you can check out on this channel is you can check out WWE Aftershock this past week, and you can check out the other videos in the WWE Aftershock playlist. You can check out
AEW Spark.
AEW Spoke. Sorry, because it wasn't next on the thing, so I had to scroll down.
Yeah. You're
But you can check out AEW Spoke that Noah hosts every week, and you can check out the past episodes of that where I've hosted. And if you want to find me talk about non-wrestling stuff, you can check out the CM Brothers and then on the Talking to the YouTube channel. More specifically at the moment, the CM Brothers channel, because about a month or so ago, we did a 400th video. I know YouTube doesn't say it's the 400th because they don't count the shorts and the lives anymore as videos, but it's 400. I don't know what they're talking about. YouTube likes to be like that sometimes, but shouldn't make fun of them because they'll probably like take this video down and like
strike
erase it from the
we're
history
fucked.
books.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
YouTube be goofing.
But
YouTube be goofing.
Yes, again.
But yeah, YouTube. But yeah, the 400th video, my cousin and I reviewed the worst movie that we've ever seen in our lives, Death Note. It was so bad. It's the Netflix 2017 one. It was so bad that we spent over 3 hours just ranting about it. It was just so bad.
Oh, yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
Yeah. I know on the Talkinator, there should be a channel update video. It's recorded. It's just slow in the uploading right now just because of busy schedules and stuff. But you will see it.
We will say, as of right now, you'll see it when you see it after I get my documentary for a certain family member done. That's all I will say.
Yep. And one final thing is I want to say thank you because Jeff Meacham got to at least come to a channel worthy because I'm over 400 subs now. I think I'm at like 404 subs. So Jeff Meacham feels happy about that. I think something new we're going to be doing, it looks like, is we're going to be releasing YouTube Shorts. We're going to take clips from long videos and post them. James did it yesterday, and the success rate on it is like really good. Like it's like over 300 views.
That's why I did that.
Owen, Jeff, I have a question for you, gentlemen.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Do you believe in concussions?
Oh yeah, check out my shorts on my channel. Yeah, and Jeff, if anybody knows that, there's a funny little clip that we did where we did a funny little skit where it's like, I think we were watching Daniel Garcia and Daniel Bryan on Fyter Fest, and they just did a lot of headshots, we'll say, right? And so Kuzan jokingly just asked my boy Sean, do you believe in concussions? And then I also asked, do you believe in concussions? And then King says, do you? And then Noah also says, do you? And then Sean just goes, nah, concussions are a myth. Yes, I fucking believe concussions. And then
Do you? Concussions.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't believe in them. They don't exist. They never happened.
They never happened. Yeah, it's all a work.
That's right.
It's all a work,
That's
pal.
right. That's right. That's right.
Anyway, no.
All the work started by Will Smith.
All the world's a stage, and there are no concussions.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyhow, that pretty much wraps it up for the biggest retro that I've ever done. Again, Jeff, thank you for doing this. That means a lot. And we'll talk to you guys later because I can't tell you my catchphrase anymore.
Since this is being recorded in the present and the now.
No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
Right. You can still say talk to you in the future, you dick.
No.
You ruined the bit. You did the thing.
I'm sorry. Hey, do you like that they're at least live?
Oh yeah, I love the fact that they're live because now we can get the shows out earlier. Now,
exactly. So shush. Thank you. We'll talk to you guys later. Since this is being recorded in the now, talk to you in the future. Bye, everybody.
We doing all the classics, you heard it, then I grabbed it. Flow like Method Man, then run like I'm Rabbit. Soon as I hear the bass line, it be my FaceTime. Music's in my veins, so just in case I'm without my iPod or a media player, I'll check my